injury lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Good afternoon and welcome to Hangin with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 The Tiger up in Shreveport with our friends over on CST and on our YouTube page, 104.5 ESPN, or the Hangin with Hester and Hanny page. Please go and subscribe. Charles Hanagriff, Jacob Hester, Cade Wazan is our audio producer today. Paul O'Neill is our video producer today, and Playboy Marty is on a 3-day-a-week schedule. I think there was something about a tire that I heard earlier today, so we'll see.
I typically think if he's not here, he had a bad day or a bad night. We should say betting.
Well, I don't think that was it this time. This time it was the ticket and the tire.
Anytime somebody says they had a flat tire, I don't believe them.
Well, he is at the tire dealership, I believe, is what he put on Twitter.
Oh, so he's going all in on the story.
Yeah.
He's been covering his tracks on Twitter.
I'm here where it smells like tires, and I'm getting a tire, and I'm not going to work for a little while. One of those deals?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
sure.
If you're out there, Marty, listening, we send you our best. We are approaching the weekend and LSU's trip up to Columbia, Missouri. We'll have plenty to say about that today. Of course, if you're continuing, as we all are, to track Hurricane Delta, that latest track coming out at 1 o'clock. And tomorrow all day on our sister station, Talk 107.3, will be live continuing coverage for everything that you need to know. So everybody, get yourself ready and hang in there. We'll try to entertain you while we get ready. So you're in a good mood.
I am in a good mood. I'm in a great mood
today. You're in a good mood. Your team won last night. The Irish won.
The Fighting Irish took care of business last night. We played the Hurricanes. That's kind of fitting.
Wow.
Great game. Both teams played extremely well. Those are always the more fun games. We had a couple guys make some big-time plays. My son did his best Clyde Edwards-Helaire, put a little spin move out. So, although he turned the wrong way, Hanny, but it still worked out. So he's running to his right. Instead of spinning out, obviously to his right, well, he spins in and goes left, but it ended up working out. So maybe he meant to do it. Probably not.
Anything that works out, Clyde taught him. Anything that doesn't, Dad taught him. Is that?
According to my wife, probably, yes. According to my wife, yes.
We start with a little bit from Coach O last night on the show. You're going into this game against Missouri. A lot of different storylines that don't have anything to do with the moving of the game. Starting with the fact that LSU, Jacob, is going to have their third different starting offensive line in as many weeks.
We got to communicate. We got to do a great job. Charles Turner is going to play left guard for us. Ed Ingram's hurt. Ed has been a stellar player for 4 years now. Fantastic young man. But Charles is going to have to step up. I think Daryl's going to be ready to play. Cam's going to be ready to play. They got to have the communication well. We have to protect Miles.
So you're going with your third different starting offensive line. Rosenthal, I'm listening to that along with you. Goes back in. I don't know. Cam Wire plays a little bit. I don't know. But the fact is you've had to juggle this thing 3 times in 3 weeks. And, well, James Craig's had to do this before, but it's never what you really want.
No, so this thing's making me more nervous the more times it happens because, stay with me, last year it kept happening because of injuries, suspensions. It just, new guys had to show up. New guys had to play up. Now, they did a really nice job. Last week, we didn't notice Cam Wire. Eventually, that's going to catch up to you. And there's going to be a problem. There's going to be somebody, and really no fault to theirs, they're playing out of position. And how long can LSU get away with this? Now, I told you, whatever James Craig's getting paid, it needs to go up because he's done a hell of a job the last couple of seasons getting whoever's in there ready to play. Now, the quarterback has something to do with that, how fast he gets the ball out of his hands, all those type of things. But, man, you're talking about not only shuffling guys, Hanny, it's one thing if you got a guy, he's a backup center, he's been here 2 years, he's a center, that's what he does. It's another thing if you've got a guy who's playing out of position. Like Charles Turner came here as a center. They've played with him a little bit at right tackle, and now he's going to be playing guard, right? So you're shuffling the guy all up and down the offensive line. So it's definitely something that is troublesome. It's something that I hope doesn't catch up to LSU. But the more times you roll a lineup out there that hasn't played, you risk it being a problem.
I'm going to quibble with you just a little bit on one part of that, which is that they shuffled a lot of this last year. They shuffled one position, essentially. They shuffled left tackle because Charles was in and out of the lineup.
But even the left, I know what but the left guard, even having
McGee started pretty much every game.
Yeah, but they were going series by series at times.
Ingram played.
That can be a chemistry problem. This isn't necessarily even a talent thing because all these guys are scholarship guys, but it's a chemistry of, if I'm Lloyd Cushenberry, well, Ed Ingram blocks something different than McGee does. He takes different steps. And so he had to know every time, okay, who do I have in? Okay. So those are the type of things I'm talking about.
That's right. But Cushenberry was there every game. Lewis was there every game. Deculus was there every game. McGee was there every game. I agree with you that they did both play. And then the left tackle was, because of Charles' stuff, they had to bounce in and out of there. This is 2 positions in 3 weeks, and we're okay. Just hold up right there. Let's not move this forward any more than you have to, than what it is right now. So that's one thing that's different this week. Another thing that's different, and this is on the good side, is that Glenn Logan will be back.
Good. A lot of depth there. Glenn's going to start for us. He's an outstanding player. This is his last year. He wants to have a great year. He gives us a big boost inside.
One of the things that jumped out about that one was most times guys miss. Well, they come back. Well, you got to work your way back up the depth chart. Not Glenn Logan. Glenn Logan didn't not play the first 2 games because he's not the best guy. Okay, he didn't start the first 2 games because he wasn't available to him. He's available to him now. He hasn't missed any camp. He hasn't missed really, I don't think, very many, if any, practices at all. So he's in shape. There's not a guy that opted back in. He's got to work his way back into shape or anything like that. He had to miss 2 games. He's got to miss 2 games, and now he's the best guy.
I thought he was crucial to this defense coming in. That's before we knew he was going to miss the first 2 games. I said on this show a long time, all summer long, that position in Bo Pelini's defense is very important. When you look at history of who he's had, and look, Logan's not this player, but Dorsey and Ndamukong Suh, guys that Bo Pelini's had at that 3 technique position. Now, Glenn Logan can be a hell of a player, and you can plug him in there. I expect him to get a lot of run because I truly felt like he was going to be key to the success of the defensive line because of all the different things that he can do. I mean, he showed up plenty of times last year, so getting him back in a spot where you're extremely thin. I mean, Joseph Evans has done a really nice job, but Joseph Evans, not that long ago, was playing offensive line, and he's your starter on the defensive line. So getting him back, getting Neil Farrell another game under his belt where he can kind of get his wind back, this is a position that is going from a weakness to possibly a strength, depending on how Glenn Logan comes out and plays.
Don't forget J. Roy.
Yeah.
J.
Last
Roy
week definitely flashed.
Yeah, he's – by the end of the season – he might be their best defensive lineman. He's got that kind of potential. I mean, I may be putting a little bit much there.
I'm not going to argue with you.
He might, by the end of the season, he might be. If not, when he starts next season, I think he's probably going to be a centerpiece for them. Coach O is also talking about Mizzou's offense.
Well, he had 2 quarterbacks. One's a drop-back quarterback, and the other's an option quarterback. The first play against I think it's the first play of the season against Alabama. They run the triple option. I ain't seen a pitch in so long. I've seen the zone option, but they got a pitch. A lot of different formations. Here's what they run on offense. They run the zone. They cut your defensive lineman. They run the inside zone. They run the counter. They run the boots, the nakeds, and the waggles. They have a lot of crossing routes and a lot of play-action pass. A very difficult offense to get a line to first. And then once you can get a line, I think that you can execute against them, but you have to get a line first.
When you looked at Missouri on offense, he said a lot of things, and they may do a lot of things, but the first 2 weeks, they hadn't done a lot of things real effectively.
No, they haven't. And Shonda Robinson's, been the quarterback really, and then you bench him and you bring in a new quarterback, so who knows how much of that will change. Who knows how much of that kind of goes out the window as far as the boots and the waggles and all the things that they kind of had up against Alabama and early against Tennessee. That's something to pay attention to, because obviously Sean Robinson was more of a dual threat than Bazelak coming in. So how much can you take from that? I don't know. I mean, he was a pro-style quarterback coming out of high school. I think he was 13th rated pro-style quarterback, so not a dual threat guy. So I do think that changes a little bit of what they do. But when you're talking about boots, when you're talking about waggles, all the things, and the option like Coach O was mentioning, well, you can't do those things if you can't run the football. And if LSU can shut down Larry Roundtree, who I've said all week is their best offensive player, all that stuff doesn't really matter, because if you shut him down, those boots and waggles that you're play action in and trying to get everybody to bite on that so you can get the edge, so you can roll out, well, that doesn't work. The key to this game is stopping Larry Roundtree. If you do that, LSU wins, and it's not close.
Wouldn't be a coach's show if somebody didn't ask about the backup quarterback. So, on that.
Him and Max are ready to go. TJ has had a tremendous camp. He is a great thrower. He's probably one of the best throwers I've seen here at LSU. He's tall. He's worked his tail off. Max is also a great thrower, has a great presence, has a great ability to escape. It can run the ball, can be a dual-threat quarterback. So to be honest with you, those two guys are tight with us right now. It depends the flow of the game. Hopefully I can get both of them in if the situation arises.
He's just been so good at this. He's just been so good at this. Listen, I've seen a lot of these things, okay? I was here when the great Booty Nall Davy triumvirate camp. I mean, I'll never forget that camp, because there were three guys with a legitimate chance to start. You had your Davy camp, you had your Booty camp, and you had your Nall camp.
Right.
And Nall won the job, had the job for about 12 minutes, and then they made that move, and then at the end of the season they made a move again. I saw that. I saw the Jamarcus Russell, Marcus Randall, 2004 conveyor belt rotating.
So Flynn got in the bowl game before Jamarcus did. I mean, you could throw him in the back end.
When you get you get into 2005. I was here for Jordan Jefferson and Jarrett Lee. I have seen some quarterback competitions around this place, and I have never seen a coach be quite so diplomatic in not saying anything while he tries to say everything. It's been beautiful to watch.
He's done a great job of this twice, because when Joe Burrow came in, and we all assumed Joe was going to be a starter, but he did a nice job of his Joe, Miles, Lowell, Narcisse. I mean, it was everybody, right? I mean, it was four quarterbacks that were in that competition.
See, this is so much better, though, okay? Because we knew – I don't want to say the man was lying. The man was protecting, okay? We knew Burrow was going to start.
Right.
I don't care what the rep count was. He tried, okay? God bless him. And two guys transferred, and okay. But we knew Burrow was going to start. I honestly have some doubt in my head, if, God forbid, Miles Brennan turned an ankle, who's going in the game? I could flip a coin right now. He's done a great job with this.
Yeah, like a politician, man. It's election season.
Now, I know he knows, and I know Steve knows.
Right.
I honestly don't know if the kids know. I would say at this point, if you went to either one of those kids and said, if something happens to Brennan on the first series of the game, do you know if you're going in or the other guy's going in? You think they could tell you with any degree of certainty?
No. And that's the way it has to be in this day and age of college football.
That's right.
You have to have it that way. When you bring in two quarterbacks in the same class and neither one of them are expected to play, you got to handle it exactly like he's handling it right now.
Keep the portal clean.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, hey, look.
Portal.
Got to do what you got to do. We are brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Cody Worsham with us at the bottom of the hour. He's got a really interesting piece going up on Ali Gaye.
Yeah, he did a deep dive of a really, really good backstory on how he ended up where he's ended up. I'm excited to catch up with Cody because, you know, obviously in this day and age with everything going on, we don't really get those one-on-one interviews that we typically get, so you don't get a chance to know somebody. So Cody did a really nice job. He sat down with Ali Gaye, did a really nice story that's coming out, I believe, if not right now, a little bit later today.
Hon Palmer with us in the second hour today. Luke Johnson. We'll talk Saints with us at about 2:15 today. Lots going on in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
The league is really, really at a crossroads as to what to do with the Tennessee Titans. And
does it feel like when the Marlins and Cardinals had their situation in Major League Baseball and Major League Baseball made the Marlins get on a bus and drive back home?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that to it. But when they said when the term unprecedented penalties came out, for them holding that workout at that private school in Nashville when they were specifically told not to gather.
Yeah.
When I hear unprecedented penalties, I think about Sean Payton missing an entire year. I think about Tom Brady, the best quarterback maybe ever, missing 4 games. I start to think about what are the biggest fines in NFL history. I start to think about some of the first-round picks that have been lost for things like tampering with other coaches. And you tell me it might go past all that. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. We'll take a break here. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we are glad to be brought to you by the Tiger Athletic Foundation. As a former LSU student-athlete, I can tell you that your Tigers give 110% each day. That's not only on the ball field, but that's in the classroom as well. LSU Athletics, during this very difficult time, is still one of the very few programs in the nation who has remained self-sufficient in its operations. But as we all know, this year has been one like we've never seen before. A lot of adversity dealing with everything, right? Due to the restrictions around COVID-19, the loss of essential revenue to LSU Athletics will be in the tens of millions of dollars. But as you know, we've got to go here at LSU, and our go never stops. The Victory Fund is something that I like to tell you about each and every day. Your support is so critical to the future of LSU Athletics. If you want to learn more information about that Victory Fund, you can learn that information at victory.lsutaf.org. You can check out the website. You can find out all the information there. It is critical for you to go check out that because it is so critical to the success of LSU Athletics.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Foundation failure is common in South Louisiana, and that's why homeowners here turn to a local company they can trust, WCK Foundation Repair.
WCK is the only company that specializes in drilled piers, the ideal solution for Louisiana's unique soil conditions. WCK is locally owned and operated by a group of professionals with years of experience.
Learn more about the signs of foundation failure on WCKFoundationRepair.com. Call for a free estimate. WCK Foundation Repair. Support the home team.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams
Hey, it's Gabe Voisier inviting you to join us for a special edition of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. We're live Thursday night from 10 to midnight on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Cody Worsham with us here at the bottom of the hour. You watching some football tonight? As we'll hunker down and wait for the storm.
Is Pittsburgh the Steel City?
Yeah, well,
damn right it is. Yeah, I'm watching football.
Tulane and Houston tonight. Houston starting their season after 4 other attempts. Didn't quite get there, and then you got Bucks and Bears as far as the NFL goes tonight. You might want to hunker down with a Coors Light.
It's always a good option to do that. As y'all know, that is my favorite. That is my beer of choice. For me, it's called Coors Light. I like to say it just that way, but man, I'm gonna be after the storm passes, I'm gonna be fishing. I'm gonna have a cold Coors Light in my hand, and I am glad to have them here. I mean, look at this thing.
As the official beer of Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
I don't know if anything's ever actually made me happy. I'm kind of glowing over here.
Not just Coors Light, but also the Blue Moon Light Sky, which is a new brand. If you like Blue Moon, a little bit lighter version of Blue Moon. This is a citrus wheat that I sampled just recently for the first time, and I like. So I think I may hunker down with a little bit of this tonight, since they gave us some product to distribute, which we're going to be distributing a little bit to the audience. I know you guys are happy.
It's going to be hard for me to give up the Coors Light, but yes, we will.
Well, we've got a little bit of both. Thankfully, they cater to you, cater to me. Also, the Vizzy Hard Seltzer, which is another new brand from our friends over at Crescent Crown. We'll be introducing that and being able to give a little bit of product away here in the coming weeks. So happy to have them aboard.
Yeah.
And we'll start, endorsing products tonight, right about the time they kick the football, right?
There's without question. I'm really excited about this one. If you've ever listened to my show, you know how excited I am about this one.
Very good. You've had a chance to talk with Eli Drinkwitz a number of times for the SEC show. I get the feeling that most people don't know who he is, that he is the most under the radar coach in the Southeastern Conference, not just because of where he coached, but because when the Missouri job came, I was like, well, who's going to get that job? That's probably not a name down here that we knew. Even Sam Pittman, we knew. Well, he was at Georgia. Eli Drinkwitz is a bit of a mystery. So what did you pull from him? What kind of guy is he?
All right, so let me kind of give you his background in case you don't know. He did start Springdale High School up in Arkansas. It is one of probably the power program in the state of Arkansas. Remember, Gus Malzahn was at Springdale, so he has strong ties to Gus Malzahn.
Mitch Mustaine?
Yes, absolutely. I think my high school actually played them when Eli and Gus were there after I was already at LSU. Then he followed Gus to Auburn, quality control. Then he was also Arkansas State with Gus Malzahn. So he has been with him in multiple places. Then after that, he actually branched off on his own, goes to Boise State. He's the offense coordinator there, goes to NC State where he's the offensive coordinator, then obviously ends up at App State being the head coach there. So he has got strong ties to Gus Malzahn, but the offense doesn't look like Gus's. So it's a little bit different there. But he's no stranger to this conference. It's just not a name that we knew because he wasn't in a role of coordinator or head coach. He's a very intelligent play caller. He's a guy that's not going to take a lot of chances. He's going to make sure everything that he does is calculated. It's not gimmicky. Just because you hear Arkansas State, Boise State, that's not really what they want to do. And I think a lot of them. I think he's going to have some success, up to Mizzou standards. I think he'll have success in the conference, but it will be a while. Barry Odom recruited a little bit differently than Eli Drinkwitz is trying to get there.
In what way?
I really think just in the skill positions, I think when you look at running back Larry Roundtree, like I said yesterday, he can't pass protect and he can't catch. Well, he wants somebody that can do both those things. Now, Larry Roundtree can run the football extremely well, but Eli Drinkwitz wants to have a guy that can be really a jack-of-all-trades type running back. I think he wants a tight end that's more of a tweener. Like, that's what he's looking for, not necessarily a true Y tight end, but more of an F tight end. So just little things like that don't probably seem like a lot, but they end up being a lot.
When I asked you different recruiting, I had a whole different idea of what answer you were going to give me. I thought you were going to tell me, well, they plan to emphasize Texas more. They plan to emphasize Florida more. They plan to emphasize they're going to be recruiting in the Chicago area or something like that. So that's kind of where I was thinking you were going to go with that. But asked and answered. This was Eli Drinkwitz when he was asked yesterday if the Tigers of Missouri get a little bit of an edge here in this game because of the relocation.
You know, I haven't looked into it from a competitive standpoint. Obviously, we just found out a couple hours ago that was in fact what we were doing, and so right now my focus is trying to figure out how to stay on the field on third downs, how to keep them off the field and stop third down drives in red zone. As far as competitive advantage, obviously, Faroe Field is a great place, and we're going to be able to be the home locker room. But other than that, I'm not sure. I understand that this was not a competitive advantage decision. This was about the health and safety of our players and everybody involved.
If there's ever a year, Hanny, to not have an advantage from this, it's this year. Nothing really changes outside of LSU does have to travel, but it'd be one thing if you were going into a packed stadium where their fans were just so happy to see LSU there. LSU's never been here. It's not going to be that. It's going to be like 8,000 people, and it's really just going to be a venue change and a time change.
The routine is what is the bigger deal for LSU. They got to leave today. That's a day earlier than they would normally leave.
That's like an NFL trip. It's a little different.
Yeah, they got to play at 11 in the morning instead of 8 at night. Now, you spent a lot of time yesterday talking about body clocks, so go through that again. But that's the other deal. Once they actually get there and kick the ball, I think the advantage is going to be negligible. But before that, I think there's some position.
They're going to practice there. That's again, in the NFL, you do that. In the NFL, when you go play the Ravens, well, you go practice at Johns Hopkins. That's what you do. You just go to that field and you practice. But in college, you just don't do those type of things. So it's not going to throw them off that much. And by the way, you asked earlier about recruiting. I will give you a breakdown. He is recruiting St. Louis and Indianapolis way harder than Mariota.
Okay,
so there you go.
That's what I was looking for. This was Drinkwitz on LSU's defense.
Well, I mean, obviously they present challenges all over the football field. I mean, they've got great players at a bunch of different positions. They have been aided by grad transfers, All-Americans at both the nickel position and linebacker position. Obviously, Stingley is, one of the best corners in the country, if not the best corner in the country. And him and Patrick Surtain, who we played week 1, obviously present tremendous challenges. We've got to do a great job. He usually cancels out a receiver a game, and we got to make it where he can't. And we got to try to affect the box by being able to throw the ball effectively. And it's a great challenge, but it's a great opportunity for our team to get a chance to compete. And that's really what we're excited about, is an opportunity for us to compete.
I don't have the exact number of times they threw at Patrick Surtain in the first week, but I'm just going to go ahead and say not many. Eli Ricks, you're on notice. They're coming.
All year.
I mean, all year. But just in case you needed affirmation of that, there's the opposing head coach. We know where 24 is. We know who he is. We're going in the other direction. Nothing against you, one, but we're not throwing at 24.
Yeah. Hey, one, you might be good. Actually, you showed improvement already.
You've already picked off 2 balls.
Yeah, but 24
ain't throwing at 24.
is one of the best we've ever seen. So we're just not going to look over there. The fact, going back to week 1, even the fact when he's in the game, you know that coaches and quarterbacks know exactly where he's at. And when he wasn't in that game, how much of the game plan that truly threw off. Now, there was things that needed to happen in that game that didn't. I'm not defending anything there, but it just shows you what that one player, when he's at that elite of a level, like there's good players, there's great players, there is, oh my gosh, we don't see this guy but every 15 years type players, and that's what Derek Stingley Jr. is. And so when you're missing that guy, just the ripple effect that one guy can have. I'm not saying LSU,
records get set.
Exactly. I'm not saying they win the game. Actually, I think they do, but it looks completely different.
Cody Worsham, when we come back, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
You know, some of you here through the course of Hurricane Delta may experience some damage to your property when you go back to make those repairs, make those adjustments, do any of those things. If they involve digging, please call 811 first. Don't assume that you know where any of the lines on your property are buried. You hit one of them, you're going to cause even more problems for yourself. So as you go about making your repairs, if there is any damage to your property, call 811. Do it at least 2 days in advance. Somebody will come out and mark the location of all the buried lines on your property, and your problem won't be compounded.
Also, remember that they do have emergency service. This is a 365 days a year number. So if you've got something, even if you have a question, whatever it might be, call that number. They are waiting and ready for you. So like Hanny mentioned, we know that there's some weather coming around, but you still have to make that call. It is still the law. And again, they're going to make it as easy as possible. Call 811 before you dig.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Coming up on Fridays Off the Bench, we kick off Football Friday making fun of Hunt Palmer. Then we take a final pass at LSU-Missouri. Cole Kubelik stops by to break down the SEC as a whole. Also a brand new OTB tier list. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
All right, I want to welcome back to the show now Cody Worsham, of course, digital media reporter over at LSU Athletics. Cody, how you doing?
What's up, guys? Good to be on with you.
Yeah, we'll talk some football. As much as I want to talk about Everton being on top of the table in the English Premier League, we'll go ahead and we'll get to some American football. You okay with that?
Literally no one wants to hear about Everton.
Okay. Well, you're an Arsenal fan. You are in top four. It's cute, but you're not at the top of the table.
It's early in the season. see what happens.
All right. Hey, somebody that we didn't know a lot about was Ali Gaye coming into this football season. Now, Coach O told us about him. Now, did a lot of LSU fans listen? I don't know, but he kept saying over and over again in the summertime and in the fall camp there, this is someone that not only we're going to count on, but is going to be a very productive player for us. You sat down with Ali Gaye, and his story, Cody, is truly amazing. What was the kind of the most fascinating thing that you learned? Because it's going to be hard for you to pick out just one, I think.
Yeah, let me go back a little bit. I was up at the football facility earlier this year, and when I need a story idea, I go into the training room, and so I went into the training room, and I was talking with Jack Marucci, and actually this was out at practice, so let me rephrase that. It was at practice. I saw Jack. I said, "Hey, Jack, I'm fishing for stories." And he said, "Let me tell you about Ali Gaye," and he basically gave me the very, very sparse details, which was he's an incredible guy. Everyone in the program loves him. He's playing lights out, and he wears number 11 for a special reason. And so I sat down with Ali this week wanting to ask him about that. And it turns out he wears 11 to honor Bryce Beekman. When he told me that, my jaw kind of dropped, because Bryce Beekman, for those who don't know, is a former Washington State player from Baton Rouge, who I think went to Scotlandville.
Yep.
And Bryce and Ali played in junior college together. And what's crazy about their stories is that Bryce is from Baton Rouge, went to Washington and played football with a stop in Arizona. Ali grew up or finished growing up. He was born in the Gambia in West Africa, but he went to Washington for high school and then stopped at Arizona for junior college and then came to Baton Rouge. So their paths crossed almost like going different directions. But Bryce passed away this spring, and Ali basically immediately, or as soon as he could, went to the coaches and asked if he could wear Bryce's number 11, because Bryce had that kind of impact on him. He was an incredible personality, a guy that inspired Ali, who gave him energy. And so he asked if he could wear 11. And, he goes out in his first game wearing number 11. He said he could feel Bryce's presence there. And, of course, he comes out of the game with 11 pressures. And so, we talked about that connection. But there's so much more to his story. In fact, right as you guys called me, I just finished writing about 3,000 words on him that I'm going to have up at LSUsports.net in a second that talks about his entire journey, because it's really incredible.
There's so many different ways that we could go here, because as you were telling me, we were doing the podcast earlier this week, and you were kind of telling me just some of the facts about Ali Gaye. I mean, super interesting. And one of the parts was you said he actually stayed at LSU during the lockdown. A lot of people kind of went home. They went their different ways, but he wanted to stay here. He wanted to get stronger. He wanted to get faster. He's already a massive man if you see him out there, but that's something that was a point of emphasis for him.
Yeah, it was. He jokes when kids ask him how he got so big. He jokes that he ate a lot of rice. That's kind of his thing that he tells them. But he stayed here when everything shut down, working out, because he's incredibly focused. If you ask anyone in that building, teammates, coaching staff, training staff, they're going to tell you that he's just the best kid in the world, and it's true. He's incredibly grateful, engaging, coming from the Gambia, incredibly focused. His parents moved here when he was in middle school and gave up a good life in the Gambia, good job, to come to the United States, take jobs that weren't as good, that required 16-hour days, 7 days a week, just so he and his sisters could have a chance. So when you get that kind of kid that understands what his parents have given up and sacrificed and has that kind of appreciation, he is so grateful, and he takes that perspective with him onto the field. So he worked his tail off this offseason, got in great shape, and came out of the gates just absolutely flying around the football field this fall. When I was up there for that same practice, and it's crazy, before Jack even kind of gave me the detail that he had an interesting story, it was literally he was the first guy that popped out to me, because I said, who is 11? Like, that guy, he looks phenomenal. You don't typically see a defensive lineman wearing 11. He looked big, he looked strong, he looked fast, and sure enough, it was Ali Gaye. And I didn't know exactly who he was then, but everyone knows who he is now, the way that he's been playing.
Cody Worsham is our guest. Cody, what was his not coming to the United States until he was in middle school? Where was he introduced? How was he introduced to American football?
Yeah, so when he came here, he came as a 7th grader, and they weren't allowed to play football at that age. And he actually wasn't that big. He was like 5'5", 5'6" in middle school. And so he fell in love with basketball. He played basketball for a couple of years, got pretty good then. But then he had a huge growth spurt as a freshman. He played as an 8th grader. He was getting bigger then, but he wasn't, the specimen that he is now. But he was, 5'9", 5'10", and they said, hey, this kid might grow and be big. Why don't you come play football? So he played as a 8th grader, and then his freshman year he really grew. He got to about 6'4", really big, and so they just kind of let him loose. And his high school did a great job developing him, and he's really, really close with his high school coach and his high school coach's wife. I think there's been a couple other stories. I think Wilson Alexander with The Advocate did a story on him. Brody Miller did a story on him. They go into some of the high school stuff and his relationship with those coaches a little bit. I didn't go quite that direction, but they took him under their wing and turned him into a really good player. Now, coming out of high school, he had committed to Washington and was a really good prospect, but didn't have the grades, and so he went to junior college, showed a lot of talent, still was kind of unheralded, though, like a 3-star guy that didn't have a ton of production. But, man, he's really just blossomed this year and really turned into what everyone thought he could be.
I'm going to ask you this, Cody, because I actually don't know the answer to it. Actually, when I was coming out at LSU and going to the NFL, the Jaguars head scout came up to me at the combine and said, hey, did you play soccer all growing up? And I said, yeah, why? He goes, well, I can tell by your footwork on the backs. And I thought that was really cool that he noticed that. I kind of see some of that in Ali Gaye. Did he have a soccer background at all?
Yeah, so good observation there. He grew up in the Gambia. He played soccer, and that was the sport that he played, and he would play barefoot in the sand. They had sand in the streets, and so that's his memory of the Gambia is playing soccer barefoot in the street with his friends in the sand. And so when he came to the States, that was what he wanted to do. He wanted to play soccer, but they didn't have a team at his school. So I think he played a little club soccer, but pretty quickly when people started to kind of see his natural athleticism, they kind of, you know how it is over here. If you're the star athlete, the soccer team ain't getting you.
Right.
The football team and the basketball team are getting you. And so he did that, and you can see it on the field. I mean, his feet are very, very nimble for his size. That's why he moves so well. He's so fluid and just has that balance, that change of direction. Yeah, that's his roots, and then he kind of picked up football late and really took to it.
Cody, at what point did it become evident that this guy could make a living at this? I mean, we're talking about a 3-year ascent here from junior college to the Southeastern Conference to what I'm assuming next year, the year after, is going to be the NFL. When did it become apparent that this guy was this talented?
I think his high school coaches saw the potential, when he was a sophomore in high school. But I don't know that they ever knew that he was going to get to this point. I think they thought it was possible, but that it was going to be it would take a lot of work. But he's such a hard worker. I think really LSU saw something in him because, he wasn't the highest recruited kid. I mean, he had some good offers, but if I remember correctly, and I don't follow recruiting as closely as I used to, but, there were fans who said, well, this is kind of a reach. Maybe LSU doesn't need this guy in this class. He doesn't have the Alabama and the Ohio State and the all these other blue chip offers. Is LSU reaching for him? But I think there was a little bit of kind of signs throughout his time that, man, if he puts it all together, if he puts the athleticism with the technique and he gets it all together in one package, he could be special. And then I think once he got to LSU and really this fall camp, I think the start of fall camp, it was obvious. If you went out there, he was really, really dominant. Coach O started talking about him. Remember the day that they announced he was a starter, there was a little bit of surprise. And I'm lucky to have some access. I wasn't surprised at all. Like every time I went out there, he was making plays and just looked really good. So I think it's been a slow build-up where there was always potential there, but the production didn't match it at the junior college level. But you could see the potential. But now, I mean, it's all coming together.
Cody, anytime that we would open it up on the podcast and we'd get questions coming into the season, the defensive end position was probably the number one position of concern for LSU fans. They didn't know who it was going to be. They didn't know if you had these elite guys on the edge that would be able to get a rush on the quarterback. And that's actually, in the first couple of weeks, been a position of strength for LSU. Not only Ali Gaye, Andre Anthony, B.J. Ojulari, you've had multiple guys step up at that position. I know you've done some numbers as well, over the last couple of weeks, but I look at that position now as one that I think is actually taken care of in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, through 2 weeks, you can't argue with the results. LSU's first in the SEC in pressures, first in, I think, sacks, quarterback hits. They're getting after the passer, and they've done it in different ways. The first game against Mississippi State, which, by the way, the pressure wasn't effective. Like, we all can see that. But they were getting after the quarterback, but they did it more with blitzes. I think it was about a 50-50 split between blitzes and non-blitzes when LSU was getting after the passer. Against Vanderbilt, it was a hard shift in the other direction. I think LSU blitzed on like 9 of 32 dropbacks. So most of the time they were just sending the front guys, but they were still able to generate pressure. And those guys have played well. I mean, Ali Gaye is grading out really well. After his first game against Mississippi State, when his numbers were unbelievable with 11 pressures and 8 hurries and 3 hits and a sack or whatever, I tweeted that number, and then someone reached out to me from the program and said, hey, like, those numbers are good. He graded out even better than that. Like, he was better than those ridiculous numbers. And we saw Andre Anthony had a really good game against Vanderbilt. You mentioned Ojulari. He's actually, according to Pro Football Focus, has been LSU's highest graded defensive lineman in both games. So he's done some nice things. And then you've seen the guys in the interior step up a little bit too. So to me, it's a little too premature to say it's a position of strength going forward. We need to see them do it against Florida and, build on it against Missouri, do it against Florida next week. But so far, it's definitely been a strength, and I don't think you can be anything but happy with the way those guys have played.
Cody, we're looking forward to reading the whole story at LSUsports.net. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us, and enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
See you,
Cody
Cody.
Worsham. Be an interesting piece. Looking forward to reading the whole thing.
Somebody that we didn't know, because typically we know because of their high school recruiting rankings and their profiles, how many stars they have, even if they're not from Louisiana. We kind of have a little bit of a background on them. When this guy signs with LSU, you really had to do a deep dive to find any information. Cody does such a fantastic job of profiling players, and now we get to know a little bit of information. Great story.
And just so how rare it is that a player that doesn't grow up on American football can achieve this level of excellence. I'm gonna call it. It's not, you can't just take an athlete that didn't grow up on the game and teach them the game, even if they've got great athletic skills, and expect them to excel. I think it was about 5 years ago, LSU took a big offensive lineman that had a background similar to this, that had grown up playing soccer in Africa and ended up going to high school in Georgia. I think his name was Valentine, if I remember right. And he ended up as an offensive lineman here, and then he transferred out, and he had great physical skills, but the game never came naturally to him. That's why what makes what Gaye is doing so unique.
Yeah, there's a handful of guys that you can say that didn't play football since they were knee-high to a grasshopper that found a way, but it is always unique when they find a way to just really kind of just go into it themselves and not play, and they learn the technique, and it comes natural to them. Dwayne Bowe didn't start playing high school football until he's a junior.
Yeah, he
ended up being a first-round pick, played 10-plus years in the NFL.
The instincts almost always aren't there.
Right.
If you don't develop them from an early age.
You could be the most talented guy in the room, but if you don't have the instincts to play football, it's one of the hardest sports, I think, to just be an athlete and go out there and play.
That's what makes what he's doing really, really impressive.
It really is, and I'm looking forward to continuing to watch him as he grows and gets some games under his belt. All right, Bob, before we do take this break, we have a CST promo because we want to tell you about the Louisiana Thursday night football game, Mentorship Academy against Parkview Baptist. That is at 7 o'clock tonight on CST. Jordy Collada, where your boys at? They better bring it. Big game, Thursday night football.
I'm with you.
Who you got?
I got your guys.
Who's my guys? Who we going with? We're going with Mentorship Academy or Parkview Baptist?
Going with Parkview Baptist.
Okay.
That you guys?
I'm going to be Switzerland here.
Thought you had a rooting interest. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention him right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to a superstore. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Hey, it's Cade Voisier inviting you to join us for a special edition of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep School Board Show. We're live Thursday night from 10 to midnight on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. We've got a channel now, a television channel for LSU and Missouri. For those of you who've been asking about that, it'll be on SEC Alternate. That's what the alternate is for. When you need another channel in a pinch, you put them on the alternate. So LSU is going to be on the alternate at 11 o'clock.
I think if you're looking for that, you don't have it on your TV package, you can sign up for it. ESPN Plus. You can pull the old pay $5.99 for the month of service and then cancel it if you want to. It's going to be on there.
thought if you got SEC Network, you got SEC Network alternate.
I think you do for the most part, but I think there's
Okay.
a couple of providers that you don't have that option.
Commissioner Sankey sending out another warning for people on the sidelines that aren't wearing their mask. Jimbo Fisher, Mike Leach, not anybody that we know, promising more fines and potential suspensions because you can't take away draft choices.
Did you take away a scholarship?
Can the league do that?
I'm asking. Could you take away a scholarship? Could you take away some of the revenue from the big check?
You can definitely do that. You can definitely do, and they're going to do that. I think he's basically telling the coaches, one more time, and I'm going to make an example out of one of you. One more time, and you're going to miss a game, and it's going to be a conference game because they're all conference games. So, put your mask on. In the big leagues, they're talking about draft choices and forfeiting games.
They talk about draft choices. You take away a scholarship. See if they get somebody's attention.
See if they got their attention yet. Hunt Palmer when we come back. Hang with Hester and Hanny. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA-certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Callahan Injury Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 2, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 The Tiger in Shreveport on CST, as well as YouTube, 104.5 ESPN, the Hanging with Hester and Hanny page. And we hang out with Hunt on Thursday. You've been working.
Some. Another hurricane coming.
Oh, I didn't mean that. I just meant a nice job on the coach's show last night.
Well, thanks. That's. I mean, I think the people missed the voice after that, but it was fun. I mean, it was a new experience for me, and I enjoyed it.
You know, it's just such a surreal week between the hurricane and moving games and trying to plan and do all that stuff. So hey, you just adjust. It's 2020.
You're supposed to have spring ball. You don't adjust. You're supposed to have summer workouts and camps and recruit, and you can't, so you adjust. You're supposed to play your whole 12-game schedule. You can't do that. You adjust and play 10 SEC games. You're supposed to play at 8 o'clock at night in Baton Rouge. You can't, so you go play at Columbia at 11. That's just the way it goes.
Cubs are supposed to still be in the playoffs.
That's not
true. So sorry.
Things you hate to hear.
Cubs are bad.
Yeah. Braves are trying to advance.
Y'all continue to throw barbs at me about the Cubs as if I'm like going to be staunchly defending the Crew. And they were terrible. They didn't hit. They're out. It's like they're awful.
But I know something that you were excited about. I saw actual like baseball lineups for LSU baseball fall scrimmage. Nobody, Hanny, and I mean nobody, enjoys LSU fall baseball more than Hunt Palmer.
That's an indictment on my social network.
No, it's something that you really enjoy.
I do. The weather's good. Bring a drink in there, bring some sunflower seeds, put your headphones on.
The team's good, so that's kind of utopia for you. So even though the Cubs failed,
well, because going to football practice kind of stinks. Like they don't really do anything. They, do big cat drill and tackle dummies and, work on read options, and you don't get to really see anything. You go to baseball practice, they play baseball. So I like it.
He's got a good point. We used to do the podcast together the first couple of weeks of the season when I was still getting to know some of the guys. Yeah, so when I saw this guy the third time in fall ball, how many did you go to? 15 or something.
Every one
like
of them.
Yeah, he was there. So what do you think about Missouri, since that's the more timely topic
Missouri's
today?
not very good. Same kind of refrain from last week. I watched a lot of the highlights from the Tennessee game from both sides. Tennessee just kind of bullied them. They kind of knocked them around, ran the ball. Missouri wasn't really able to get much going. Like Roundtree hit one little run there, and they scored one touchdown. They're limited on offense because neither quarterback's great. They've got a grad transfer from TCU, Robinson, who runs around a little bit and is okay, and they got a redshirt freshman who can throw it a little bit. But even the ones he completed, they didn't really have anybody open. He made a couple really nice throws that they made plays on. But Tennessee was much the better team. Of course, Alabama had their way with them. It's just not a very good team.
That's sort of the simplified version of what you said, except you like the other quarter. You like the first quarterback better.
It's not even better, but if that's who you went into battle with the first game, if that's who won the job, why make the change so early? And when you look at the numbers, his numbers actually have been better. I just think he's a veteran quarterback. I understand that where Missouri's at, they're a collegiate version of a rebuild. So I understand, I guess, making the move, but I think he gives you the better opportunity to win.
And if you're Eli Drinkwitz, do you have to win this year?
No. You didn't have to win this year anyways, although the expectation level there is higher than people probably think. I mean, Barry Odom, won more games than he lost, and he was 6-6 a year ago. So it wasn't like it was a complete dumpster fire like Chad Morris was, like Willie Taggart down at Florida State. But they have expectations to be a good football team there. But this year, with everything that surrounded it. We don't have to go into detail. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And then him being a first-year head coach, there was no pressure to win.
He doesn't. He would never admit to. I don't think any coach would ever admit to this publicly. But he's got to be thinking somewhere in the back of his head, where am I going to be a year from now? Where do I need this football team to be a year from now? And if a year from now I've got a quarterback here that has 10 games under his belt or 8 games under his belt, I'm going to be way better off in September of 2021. And it doesn't really, from a wins and losses standpoint, that's not my primary.
That's hard. That's hard for us here. Like, that never would be said here.
And doesn't that even become more so the case once you flip on SEC Network a month and a half ago and they said Missouri's 2 additional opponents are Alabama and LSU.
Yeah.
And everyone in your fan base is going to look around and go, okay, well, we get it.
This is stuff you don't even say out loud at your house when it's just the dog in the room. I mean, this is just in his head. I mean, this is stuff you never even, put to voice. But in his head, doesn't he have to be thinking that?
I think so. I think you do, because you didn't even really have the opportunity to get this last recruiting class like you normally would have. Like, you didn't even have that opportunity to really close because he was, late getting there, and he's trying to make sure the guys that he still wants that committed to Barry Odom, that he can sign those guys. And so you really don't get a full recruiting class, and then you miss spring practice, and then all the things that we know with these new coaches. And so, again, it would never ever play here as far as, hey, we're just going to get the guys that are going to be out there next year because we care about this year, but we know there's nothing we can do. But in a place like Mizzou in this certain year, I think they can do that, and I think that's probably what you'll see. Now, maybe not as much in Game 3, but when you get to Game 7, the starting lineup will look completely different at Mizzou in Week 7 than it does Week 3.
For LSU, we look for progress. And one of the things that a lot of people brought up on the post game, it's been a topic this week, is John Emery, the breakout game last week. What does he do for an encore? And this was Ed talking about that last night.
John's bigger, stronger. He's worked out in the weight room. He's in great shape. He has a great coach in Kevin Falk. John is protecting the ball more. We always knew he was an outside runner, but now he's making one cut, getting up the field, getting the tough short yards that we need. We still need to throw him the ball out of the backfield. He's a tremendous athlete, has a lot of speed. He's blocking well. I think it's just overall maturity and 1-2, and I'm just so pleased with him.
So now we're talking about touches. We're talking about John Emery touches now. So give me an idea, Hunt. What are you expecting?
He got 15 last week. My guess is that goes down, assuming that Chris Curry plays. My preference would be that it went up. I said 15 to 19 preseason, and that's where I would like it to be. I think he's the best back that LSU has, and I'd like him to be featured in the offense. I just think the staff has too much faith and likes Chris Curry too much, and then Ty Davis-Price is a really good talent, and I don't mind at all when he carries the football, but I think Emery's the best, and I hope that he's featured.
My key, so every week we send in our keys for LSU Game Day Live, and I just sent mine in like right before we came on this segment, and it was make John Emery the feature back. That's my key. And it's a key for this game, but it's a key for the rest of the season. And I agree with you. If you give Chris Curry the ball and Ty Davis-Price the ball, I am completely okay with that. They have earned the right. They are really good football players. But I think John Emery needs to go to that number one back. He needs to be the starter. Every running back by committee has a starter still. They still have a guy who's going to get a percentage of the carries that's more than the other two guys in the rotation. He is just he's a difference maker. He was a difference maker before this year, but he had problems. He had problems holding to the football. He had problems catching the football. It looks like those things have gone away. And he's running tougher, so he's added that to his repertoire. There's a lot to like there, and I feel like his mentality flipped, which it had to be successful. So make him the feature back. Allow him to go out there and be the starter while the other guys still get their carries. Because remember, if John Emery goes out there and he's a star and the other two backs lean on you because they're power backs, that's only going to bode well for your offense.
That's kind of where I was going next. It's if you can bring those two guys in, 3 and 18, in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, when they've been chasing Emery around, chasing the spread around, and they got to tackle those two guys as hard as they run and as strong as they are, that's not going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, but last year we had a similar thing with Clyde where you said, well, you chase Clyde around for 3 quarters, and, man, in the fourth quarter you bring that big thunder freshman in Ty Davis-Price, and they're not going to be ready to tackle him. Worked against Florida.
It did.
He broke off that touchdown run in the second half. But as the season went on, Clyde got stronger.
Yeah.
It was like
power back.
I don't need to bring somebody else in. And I bring that up because Emery has run better between the tackles than I expected. And
That's
so I
fair.
wonder if you make him the feature back, if when you get into the fourth quarter, he's not still the same guy you want out there on the field.
He possibly could be. I don't think he's as strong as Clyde. It's misconception when you see Clyde that he's not strong. He's one of the stronger players on your football team. It's kind of like Darren Sproles used to be. Darren Sproles would out-clean anybody in the weight room. He would bench press about as much as anybody. I'm talking lineman, anybody. That's who he was, and that's why he was so successful. Some of the same things with Clyde, but to your point, it looks like he does have that ability, or at least it's starting to show that he has the ability to be somebody that leans on the defense.
Yeah, I think that Clyde was so good last year, so dynamic, that I think it was a drop-off when you brought in another guy. And I don't know that it's necessarily that big a drop-off to me this year with these guys, just based on the fit of the offense and the skill set. I still think Emery is the best one, but I think that a set of fresh legs is probably more beneficial this year than last.
We should, to be fair, to point out that Clyde was in his third year in the program, and Emery is in his second year. And, Jacob, you can speak better than anybody on this set as to the difference between being an underclassman and an upperclassman.
When you go to that third year, that's the game changer, because there were still times in my second season that your head's spinning a little bit. When you get in that third year, remember we talked about installs? When you get that third year, it's that day 3 install. You're like, oh, again, we're going to go through this for the young guy? Are you kidding me? You get to that point in your third year, you feel like you know everything, and you're so prepared compared to where you are your second year, where you're kind of still swimming in it a little bit.
We're going to do some SEC true or false when we come back. We are brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Gotros Outdoor Power. You know, if you've still got a need for a generator, you can get over to either location of Gotros for generators, either in Gonzales Airline at 74, in Baton Rouge Airline at Industriaplex. We tell you all the time about all of the great mowers, all the great trimmers and blowers and edgers, but generators also available at both locations of Gotros.
No, you're exactly right, Hanny, and they close at 5 p.m. today, so make sure you get out and you go by Gotros to check out all that they have to offer. And also, we tell you every single day, no matter where you're at in the state of Louisiana, listening to us in North Louisiana, watching us across the state on CST, go check out their website, GotrosOutdoorPower.com. They've got the website set up for success. You can check out all the new equipment, sales and promotions, all of that, right? And that delivery to you is free. Take full advantage of that free delivery from Gotros Outdoor Power. Just another reason that's Gotros. We make it easy.
Football is back. Tune in Sunday for a full day of NFL coverage starting at noon with the Chiefs Raiders, followed by the Cowboys Giants at 3:25 and the Vikings Seahawks at 7:20. Then Monday night the Saints host the Chargers. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
During times of trouble, hope keeps us calm, and courage keeps us strong. Here in Louisiana, we know this better than most. After all, we've faced hardship, but hurricanes and floods never washed away what makes us strong. It's our culture, the spirit of resilience that says rise and rise up again. We'll make it through the tough times, we always do. And Blue Cross will always be here to support you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Full hour of football talk with Mike Detillier. Ryan Clark is with us as well. Fantasy Blitz. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, we're going to do SEC True or False.
Oh, Hunt, have you got to play this game?
No, I have not, but I'll dominate it.
SEC True or False. Somebody cue Craig Schilling to keep score in this thing.
Keep score and, maybe make us a sounder or something. I think we're doing this enough. Like, it deserves its own sounder.
Well, it is brought to you by Supreme Rice, our friends down in Crowley, Louisiana. And, gosh, our prayers are with you because they're still recovering from Hurricane Laura and with Hurricane Delta bearing down on the coast. We tell you to support our Louisiana farmers with Supreme Rice. All of the rice is grown, milled, and processed right there in Crowley, Louisiana since the 1930s. We know at our house, you got a power outage, man, we're going to make a big pot of something, and we're going to make it with Supreme Rice, whether it's the brown, the long grain, or the jasmine rice. It's so easy to pick up for your etouffees, for your stews, for your jambalayas, even if you want to cook a little gumbo. It's perfect for any dish. You can get great recipes at the website, and it's easy to get Supreme Rice at all your Walmarts, all your Costco's, any of your AG food dealers. For more information and great recipes, go to supremerice.com. All right, let's start it off here. True or false? Texas A&M will score more points against Florida than they did against Vandy. 17 for reference point is what they scored against Vandy.
Well, Florida's going to score so fast. They're going to have more possessions. So I'll give them. I'll say they score more points.
You say they will score more?
They'll score more points.
True, they will score more points against Florida than they scored against Vanderbilt.
True. They'll score more. They were really bad against Vanderbilt, and Florida's defense is not great.
You both say this in a manner it's like, well, yeah, but, I mean, they're still going to get
they're going to lose, but they're going to score more than 17.
They're going to lose by 3 scores, but yeah.
Ooh, I hope so.
56-24 or something along those lines.
I don't know who on that Texas A&M defense is going to guard any of the receivers or tight end. I truly, we don't know the names, of the Florida receivers, but when you look at them, we know the names. That's what we do. But I'm saying our listeners, you might not know the names like you know the Alabama receivers. They've got track speed out there on the edge, and they've got, as y'all do know, one of the best, if not the best tight end in the country. Ain't no way Texas A&M can do anything against that group of skill players.
All right. True or false, Tennessee will rush for more than 120 yards against Georgia.
I will go false. I think that Georgia run D is good, and I think that they're probably going to lean on their veteran quarterback a little bit more than that.
All right, I'm going to be the homer here and take the running back side. I think Ty Chandler and Eric Gray are two of the best backs in the conference. You talk about running back by committee. It's really split almost right down the middle. 32 carries to 28 carries. Chandler is the leading rusher there. They're both averaging over 5 yards a carry. They both have runs over 20 yards, so explosive plays this year. I think the Tennessee offensive line is very, very undervalued in this matchup. I'm not saying Tennessee's going to have a 300-yard day, but they'll run for, I think, about 150-ish. So
Tennessee through 2 games averaging 182 yards a game on the ground. Georgia through 2 games giving up an average of 58 on the ground. So I'll split the difference on you guys. I think that's probably the number. If Tennessee gets over that 120, they got a chance. If they go under it, they got no chance in this game.
You trying to say Garantano's not going to make the plays through the air?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I was implying it. Thank you for saying the actual thing.
Hey, you know me. Call them out. Say them by name.
True or false, Stetson Bennett IV will throw for more than 250 yards against Tennessee.
I'll go false. I think the game plan will dictate that. I think you're going to go back to the old, hey, we're Georgia. We're going to play smash-mouth football defense. He ain't going to do all that, right? So I don't think he's going to have the attempts. I think he plays well, though.
Pickens is the problem there if you're Tennessee. If they get him going a little bit, he's tough to deal with, but I'll go under 250. 275 yards passing would be a really nice day for Stetson Bennett.
That's a good defense. I mean, it's not a great defense, but it's a good defense they have at Tennessee. I was watching something earlier today, and they kept calling him Stetson Barnett. I mean, it wasn't even getting the kid's name right.
If he pulls this off and they run through and he's the guy, he will be owed an engraved apology from a lot of people, myself included, who don't think.
I'll raise my hand. All I remember was his jersey.
You've been a backer.
Well, I'm a backer, but leading into it, I was like.
But if his name was John Anderson, you probably wouldn't think twice. But you're Stetson Bennett IV. Like, we just automatically think that your grandfather probably contributed to the endowment.
His
and that's
story,
why you're on the
as
team.
y'all know, I'm a big fan of stories like this. The fact that he walked onto this team was actually said, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to go play somewhere. Committed to Louisiana Lafayette. And then when Georgia had a couple quarterbacks transfer and get hurt, injured, they said, hey, we'd like to have you back. He's like, I'll come back. Don't put me on scholarship, but I'll come back. That's a great story.
So my second part of this, because I'm not interested in South Carolina Vanderbilt at all, is true or false, Stetson Bennett will throw for more than 250 yards in this game.
We just did that.
I'm sorry. I thought we did that. That's the over. Okay, I'm sorry. 250.
Oh, okay.
253. Sorry. I lost my place on the thing. All right, true or false, Kentucky has to win this game against Mississippi State to have a 500 record.
Oh, true. Absolutely true. Hanny, they've got some barn burners, to say the least, still in Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Alabama.
They got Tennessee, Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt as games that they would.
I'm just going the heavy hitters.
You put up the games that they have to win this game in order to.
Try to find the other wins. I mean, it's very difficult to do. I mean, I'll give them Vanderbilt, Missouri as layups, and I don't think South Carolina's great shakes, but.
Hey, Kentucky, I know you did great in the NBA bubble, but stop shooting yourself in the foot on the football field.
They're not good.
You can't watch those 2 games. See, that's a lazy take. You can't watch those 2 games and not say, no, they are doing it to themselves. A guy celebrating 20 yards away from the end zone, and then he fumbles on the goal line a couple plays later.
It's 3 turnovers inside the 2, I believe.
It's bad. Like, that's the thing. Like, the opposite is what I thought. That's why I love Kentucky so much. I was like, oh, they're going to be coached great. Mark Stoops, that's one of the best coaching staffs, and I still believe that. But they're doing just dumb stuff out on the football field. I mean, your kicker was a hot mess the other day. Hey, learn to play like a damn champion. Learn to play like you're not
of what?
Kentucky.
The Music City Bowl?
Well, no, you have to go out there and have that mentality. Or you're going to keep doing these things. You're going to keep being a 6-win, 7-win team.
That's what they are.
But that's not what they are. I mean, they've won 10 games 2 years ago. With a receiver at quarterback, they won 8 games a year ago. Like, be better. Kelvin Joseph, you started your first day at LSU against Miami. Play the ball, right? Play the ball against Seth Williams. You got the talent. Do it.
Seth Williams is an elite talent.
He is, but so is Kelvin Joseph.
I thought that at one time. I'm not sure I still do. No, that's not saying he should have made that play. Because he's in perfect position to make that play, and Williams just looks like plastic, man. I mean, he's reaching over the top of him, and he's pulling the ball out of the middle of Joseph's chest from over the top of his shoulders. All right, true or false, Ole Miss will score more than 24 points against Alabama.
True.
Why?
I think he's a good coach. I think he's got some toys, and I think that the spread at times – I mean, Alabama's not the 2011 Alabama Crimson Tide anymore. They're really good on defense, but really good these days means you give up some points, and I think that Kiffin's going to give him everything he's got.
Total in this game is 69.5.
Nice.
So they do expect quite a bit of points. True or false? Ole Miss scores more than that?
True. Matt Corral, I mean, where did that come from? He was talented and all that. He's at Media Day last year as the rep there for Ole Miss, but then John Rice Plumlee wows us with what he was able to do, not only against LSU, but he did that against Alabama to some extent. He had over 100 yards rushing in that contest. And you go back and you look at what Matt Corral's able to do, and he won that job. And I'm a little surprised, but he's making plays with his legs as well. They're going to get killed because they can't tackle anybody. They couldn't tackle anybody in this room right now, but they're going to score some points.
What did you think of the little press conference deal with
when Lane called Coach Saban elderly?
Yes.
I thought, and no one is more critical of Saban behind the mic than me, and I thought that Saban handled it pretty well to end his press conference. So I think I can still cover, but I probably can't cover him.
Well, the mere fact that Saban's not going to go crazy over this tells you that he at least, I don't want to say likes him, but does he respect him enough that he's not going to go back at him?
Well, this is not exactly breaking news. They're just wired completely oppositely. They're exact opposites.
Saban has to have respect for Lane. Lane brought Alabama out of the Stone Age. He was the guy that made that offense evolve to what it is now. Nobody else could do that to that point, right? And Lane went out and did it. They go to the CFP every year he was there. They won a national title, and now the Alabama offense looks like it is a 2020 offense because Lane Kiffin finally talked Coach Saban into doing that and not just running the football, having a guy with a swoop haircut and playing really good defense. No, he went out there and he evolved, and he really did it with bad quarterbacks at the beginning of it. And so I think he owes him a lot, and I think he knows that. When you hear him go back and forth, Saban doesn't typically go back and forth, but he'll kind of go back and forth with Lane because I think they actually have a really good relationship.
Not that Ole Miss and Alabama are competing for recruits, because if you get both of those offers, you're going to Alabama. But if you're Kiffin, it's just you're planting a little seed somewhere. It's like, man, that guy's old. He may not be there when you're finished. He's not going to be there for 3 more years.
Well, everything Lane does, there's a point to it. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Calculated a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. The true or false? Bo Nix will have a career-high passing yards this week against Arkansas. For reference, his career high is 340 yards.
False.
There's no way.
False. By the way, Barry Odom is the defense coordinator at Arkansas. He did a hell of a job last week against Mississippi State, and he adjusted and made the improvements that LSU wasn't able to do. That's not a bad defense. They got tackling machines and bumper pull, right? They got the 2 leading tacklers in the conference right now. Now, if you got a team with a great quarterback that can throw it all over the place, maybe it's different. Bo Nix isn't that right now. That's false.
Well, okay, maybe I let you guys off too easy there.
You did.
Because
thank you.
Where I was going with this is Auburn has no run game, so they're going to put the game on Bo Nix. So let me ask it a different way. True or false, Bo Nix goes over 40 attempts this week. That was what they had last week against Georgia.
I got false there too.
So they're going to still try to run the ball.
Running against Arkansas and against Georgia is two different things.
Fair enough. They didn't run against Kentucky very well either.
Well, I think Kentucky's better than Arkansas.
Hey, Auburn's not good.
I don't care for Auburn.
Well, look, Gus's entire offense is predicated on running the football. Think of the good teams he's had. Cam's running it all over the place with Dyer, and then they go to the Nick Marshall running game. That they had Trey Mason back there, and we're running it. He was running it 50 times a game towards the end.
And where's that running back?
And it's just not there.
They don't have it. They get out of the Kentucky game because Kentucky shoots himself in the foot 3 times in that game. But my point is they're going to have to put the offense on Bo Nix. Now, that ain't going to work against Georgia. It might work against Arkansas. Might.
Tank Bigsby is the guy that they think will be the back. He's a true freshman. He's not ready just yet, but the MO's out there. I mean, we've all said it. You have a running quarterback and you have a really good running back is when Gus is at his best. He doesn't have either one of those things right now. And even though it's Chad Morris's offense, I can't tell in the first 2 weeks. Can y'all? Can y'all tell that Chad Morris is calling the plays?
No.
There's no identity there. That was my question mark coming in, and it still sits there. they have looked bad in 2 games. They're fortunate to win one, and they got embarrassed on national TV on the other.
Well, and you could get away with trying to figure some things out offensively with some play, and if your defense looked like theirs did last year, but it doesn't.
All right, last one. True or false? At least one SEC coach will be fined next week for not wearing a mask.
I thought you were going to say fired.
I thought fired too. I was like, damn, who's getting fired?
No. Sankey laid down the gauntlet.
He did, and when Sankey, he says something like that, obviously it's bothered him.
Maybe everybody complies. Maybe
that ain't gonna happen.
That ain't gonna happen. Yeah, somebody gets in trouble. I don't know if it's fine. I don't know what the punishment is. Somebody has something happen to them this week. Probably Mike Leach or Jimbo.
We just talked about it, but who does South Carolina play?
Vandy.
Okay. If that starts going south, there's your fine.
Will?
Mm-hmm. You think he's going to keep a mouth over his mask if they start making penalties, turning the football over, and are down by 7 points in the third quarter to Vanderbilt? He's getting fined, and then probably fired, and he'll be able to pay the fine with the buyout.
SEC True or False brought to you by Supreme Rice. We'll take a break.
Before we take that break, I said nobody in this Ole Miss couldn't tackle anybody in this room right now. Inside the Bayou 4 chat, Ricky says, I got $1 that says they could absolutely tackle Hunt.
I have on flip-flops. That's not fair. I gotta get my ankles taped.
I got a bad hip, and he picked Hunt instead. Yeah, all right. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny. Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA-certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community without being asked? We think that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust. If you know someone who exhibits all of these qualifications, nominate them for a Good Citizen Award, and they could receive $500 from Citizens Bank. And we'll recognize them here on the show. Get the details at citizensbankandtrust.com, and then nominate your good citizen.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to a superstore. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Tune into a Wednesday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz live from the City Slice right outside the campus of LSU. The guys recap Game 4 of the NBA Finals, look ahead to LSU-Missouri, and more. Join us at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
So it's the bases loaded, 1 out now. Hester's going to be preoccupied for about the next 60 seconds, so Hunt can tell us
60?
About Hungry Howie's and how he didn't bring us anything to eat.
I can do that. Hungry Howie's bringing you Hanging with Hester, Hanny, and Hunt on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Might not be the worst thing in the world to have some pizzas on hand this weekend. Tell you about the deal every single week. 3 one-topping medium pizzas for just $15. You can have 3 pizzas, $5 a pizza at your house this weekend. Snack on it all weekend if you like to. And if you carry out, you can get a large 2-topping for just $7.99. Tell you about the Hungry Howie's app every week. Download that. You can get points to win free pizzas. Customize your order. Set your delivery time. Set your pickup time. HungryHowies.com. Always available. You can call them 225-761-4694. Stop by the store. Hungry Howie's just south of LSU's campus on Nicholson at Lee. Hungry Howie's, home of that delicious flavored crust pizza, bringing you me a couple times a week here on this show.
Hungry Howie's.
You're just a stud at that.
Yeah. Well, if you're good at something, you might as well roll it out there. You know what I'm saying?
Braves with the bases loaded and 1 out in a scoreless game in the second inning against the Marlins, trying to close out. I can
say when I used to do the show here from 6 to 8 p.m. and there was all these TVs and it was me, Flynn, and Dixon and the whole. Well, I don't even know the crew. Y'all know what I'm saying. We had all these TVs on. If there was a team that Flynn liked or he was paying attention to, or maybe he had some coin on, it was no shot he was talking during the segment. 0 shot.
Superstitious or just a bad attention span?
Oh, attention span.
Okay.
That was predictable.
Yes.
I was pretty sure. I want to talk for a few minutes here about the other games this weekend because ordinarily Texas-Oklahoma is a pretty important game.
Yep.
There's a chance that Oklahoma is going to be 0-3 in the Big 12. Now, 0-3 for Oklahoma at any point in any year, but this year in the Big 12, I get to run home. This year in the Big 12, or maybe it won't. Did he hold up? Did he not tag?
He did not tag.
He didn't tag,
and a guy dove in the outfield for the ball.
The guy ended up on the ground, and the runner at third didn't tag. Are you kidding me? The guy's on the ground.
That's not great.
He is on the ground, glove, one knee, 2 knee, sliding, hand down. What are you? Who's at third base, and what are you doing?
Not great.
Okay.
It's
wow.
Not great. Hey, let's talk how bad the Big 12 is. Let's go back to that.
Well, I mean, look, Oklahoma gave up 38 points to Kansas State and 37 points to Iowa State. I mean,
they're bad on defense?
They hired Grinch, and that was supposed to fix everything. They can't play any defense.
Grinch doesn't play linebacker. I mean, a coach can only do so much in the first year, right? When you guys watched Oklahoma in the bowl game, did you think that it was schematics that was the problem?
No, it didn't matter if Dick LeBeau was back there calling the defense. That was no.
Thank you. I mean, I appreciate them changing coaches for a guy that's had more success and wanting to change the culture and all that stuff defensively, but you better have some athletes over there. You better be able to line up and cover. You better be able to line up and rush a passer. I didn't feel like any of that was right.
I mean, Kenneth Murray was a stud, but even he got exposed because you can't just have one of those guys. And that's what they had. That's what Oklahoma had. Oklahoma had one of those guys on defense last year that could play with anybody in the country. But, look, you got to balance your roster. You can't have 80% of your studs on the offensive side of the ball. It's got to be at least a 60-40 split. And I felt like watching pregame warm-up, and I was sitting with an LSU analyst last year, and he was sitting there, and he was charting and going over the roster, who's playing, who's not. And he made the comment. He goes, man, tell you what, all their horses are on offense. That's what he said. Because you looked at the defense of the individual drill, and the defensive backs were kind of thin. The linebackers were kind of
Well, I
tall,
would need to look at them
lanky.
during warm-ups. Just look at the scoreboard for all their games.
Well, yeah, I'm with you. But once you see them all out there together.
How does that happen for this long? If you're Lincoln Riley, okay, you go into a home of an elite defensive player in Texas or in Oklahoma, and you say, we're the Oklahoma Sooners. We win the Big 12 every year. We've been in the playoffs more years than we haven't been since the playoffs started, and the only other schools that can say they're Alabama and Clemson. We were an eyelash away from beating Georgia 2 years ago to get into the national championship game. Last year, we got exposed by LSU because they had an elite offense and we didn't have an elite defense. We need you to come here and help us take the next step. We're right there. You come to Oklahoma, and we're going to contend for a title. We just need somebody on defense. How does that resonate with an elite defensive player?
Because the next guy comes in and says, look at these are the coaches that we have, and these are the guys we brought in, and they go to we play good defense here, and they go play in the NFL. Look at them. They don't have anybody that goes and plays in the NFL. They don't have any first-rounders, and they give up 60 a game. I don't know who's coaching you over there, but here's who's coaching you here. Come play defense here.
He's exactly right. No, he's exactly right. That is the pitch. As soon as you give the pitch, you can be the difference. It changes Oklahoma's defense. Well, that's a great thought. I don't think I know, and here's the proof. And that's exactly what they do.
But that means you can't recruit you can't get a kid away from LSU, Clemson, Georgia, Alabama. But you ought to be able to get them away from Texas. You ought to be able to get them away from Texas A&M.
Okay, so they're going to be mediocre
state.
then.
It's a big state, right?
What are Texas and Texas A&M? They're mediocre football teams.
They are.
To your point, what you're saying, though, if you want to steal the guys from Georgia, LSU, Bama, well, you got to go get those kind of guys to be able to compete with those guys, and that's what they can't do.
But they're so bad that now they're giving up these kind of points, not to LSU, Alabama, and Clemson and Georgia. They're giving them up to Kansas State and Iowa State. So you're telling me you can't even recruit. Let's take the top 40 kids out of play, the top 50 kids out of play. You can't recruit defensive players from 50 to 150. If you're Oklahoma,
let's just call it what it is. You can't recruit defensive players that aren't better than Iowa State and Kansas State's offensive players. That's the way that I would frame it.
Okay, we're saying the same thing. You can't be better than that. You're elite on the other side of the ball most years. I mean, the quarterback's got standing reservations at the Heisman ceremony. That's coming to an end this year. But ordinarily, you do. I don't quite get that. Who do you like in a game?
Can there be a tie?
I haven't watched a ton of either one. I would just tend to think that Sam Ehlinger in that offense against Oklahoma's defense would do a better job and score more points than Spencer Rattler in that Oklahoma offense against Texas defense. That would be my initial thought.
I know that they're going to score plenty of points in this game because the defenses are atrocious. And 72, Playboy Marty, where you at? 72. Yeah, he's pointing to the ceiling.
He wants the over?
That's Playboy Marty for over. Yeah, for sure.
Did we ever think that when this schedule was released, we saw where this game was, that both of these teams would be limping into this game?
No, of course not. The winner of this game is supposed to win the Big 12 pretty much every year. I mean, 9 years out of 10, the winner of this game is supposed to win the Big 12.
And technically, the conference is so bad they still could, but it's going to be tough. Oklahoma State's got a head start on them, and they don't look great either. Every other team already has a loss. I mean, you're talking about a conference that is out of the playoff right now.
If Oklahoma wins the game and they both start 1-2, then, I mean, you've got a decent chance to get it. Probably not. I can get Oklahoma State there. It's tough to get anybody else there to have a Big Ten championship.
It's even tough to get Oklahoma State there in my mind. And I know what you're saying, but it's tough.
Miami and Clemson. Can the Canes stick around? Really? You think? Because I've actually almost convinced myself that Miami can hang around in this game. Watched Virginia moved the ball
You
on
did.
Clemson.
We talked about it.
I think Miami's not considerably worse than Virginia. Virginia hung around. Maybe they caught Clemson in a look-ahead spot. I'll cop to that. But they didn't get embarrassed.
So how about this analogy? You know how Boise State used to show up for that one game when Virginia Tech gave them a shot, when Oregon gave them a shot, when Georgia gave them a shot? I feel like Clemson sleepwalks. Maybe I feel like you don't want to get their attention, and if they do, if Miami gets Clemson's attention, I think it's a blowout.
I'll be honest with you, Hanny. That's the game that I talked about last week. I almost forget that game is this week. It's
a game of the week.
It is. Well, we've got some games in the SEC that I think are going to be really good football games, and I've kind of been paying attention to those. But this is a game that, I think it becomes in the belief that, well, Clemson, was kind of iffy against Virginia to their standards. Miami's been hot, but I'm kind of like Hunt. I'm like, at the end of the day, they're going to say, you know what, let's flip that switch real quick, and they're going to run Miami out of the building. That's just what I have. The feeling I have right now. And that's not even anything against Miami. It's more Clemson's thinking, okay, we'll wake up. We'll be there.
How many runs did the Braves score in that inning?
Not a one.
In which they had the bases loaded and nobody out?
I don't need a reminder.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You had a strikeout from someone who was trying to hit a grand slam. You had a fly ball that was definitely deep enough because the guy dove and you didn't score. And then you had a ground out to the shortstop.
So no score as we go to the bottom of the second.
I always do love, though, in the postseason, like Dansby Swanson almost beat the throw to second base and a routine grounder to short. Why don't baseball players run that hard every time they hit the ball?
Think on 162 games, that would be a lot of trouble.
It is a pet peeve of mine. When I played baseball, if I hit it, I was a lefty. If I hit to the second baseman, I'm still running full speed all the way through the bag. Is it that hard? Right?
162
60
times?
feet. Who cares if it's 1,000 times? It's your job. You can pay millions of dollars. It's 60 feet down the line.
It's 90, but that's good.
Or 90 feet, I mean.
Respect 90. That's Joe Madden's thing.
The guys are like 30-something years old. It's a lot of load management, man. It's baseball's version of load management. I'm with you. I'm just. You're so upset that the Braves hit the bases loaded with nobody out that you're just steamed. Let me go to break. Let me give you a second to regroup here. Hanging with Hester and Hanny and Hunt on a Thursday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we're brought to you by Garcia Roofing. We want to let y'all know that all hands are on deck for emergency tarping and storm inspections as soon as safe to do so after the storm passes. They're ready to go, right? And even if today, if you've got something that's already in place, remember free roof inspections from Garcia Roofing. But don't worry, they are ready for that call because we know this is a very difficult time. We've got some bad weather possibly coming our way. So multiple ways to get in contact with them. In Baton Rouge, 225-756-3100. In New Orleans, 504-229-7660. You can also always go to their Facebook page. You can email them info@garciadidmyroof.com. You can fill out the website, right? garciadidmyroof.com. Fill it out there. They'll get back with you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At GMFS Mortgage, thanks to you, we've been changing lives for over 21 years. So far this year, that includes providing thousands of meals for the homeless, donating and helping raise $125,000 for the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, feeding hundreds of police officers during the stay-at-home order, and feeding local nursing homes. So if you're ready to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, choose a local lender that's changing lives in our community. Choose GMFS Mortgage today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you.
Hey, it's Gabe Voisier inviting you to join us for a special edition of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep School Board Show. We're live Thursday night from 10 to midnight on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We are brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Why don't you look disturbed? You look like one of your favorite sports has got a problem in it.
I don't know how bad the problem is, but it might be. I'm looking at Shot Tracer on Twitter, the Bryson DeChambeau, and there's a 361-yard par 4, which is a short hole for them, but it's a dog leg left, and it was designed to hit it down the middle of the fairway and then play a wedge or a 9-iron to the green. He just flew it onto the green, 361 for a 15-foot eagle putt.
How do you hit it 361 yards onto the green and it holds the green?
I'd have to see the green, but he hits it so high that, I mean, most of these guys, the majority of their, not every course and every hole is different depending on how hard it is and how firm it is and how much downhill it is. But if he hits it up there and it's rain and it's soft, it's not going to go anywhere in the fairway or on the green.
But if you hit it that high, you're not supposed to be able to hit it that far.
Well, it's a golf ball that doesn't spin.
That Major League, that's too high. Too high, too far.
I didn't mean too high. It's a golf ball that doesn't spin, and equipment that's super hot, and a guy who's generating club head speed that's never been done before.
I mean, this is a golden tee shot, right? Where you go and you hit, like, I'm going to hit this wood, this driver 340 yards and put backspin on it so it'll hold. You can't do that. Yeah. I mean, it's video game stuff.
It is.
Except he did it.
He's something.
Talk about transformation, by the way. I mean, in a pretty short period of time, considering how
about
much
18
the transformation
months?
is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he looks like a linebacker now.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if he can bully Augusta. There are a lot of people who think he can. I mean, there's not rough out there, and there's some dog legs, and it's
the second cut, sir. It's in front of where the patrons
that's correct.
stand, except not this year.
On the first 9 and the second 9. But it's a second shot golf course that requires precision iron shots, and if you're hitting precision iron shots with 9 irons and wedges, and everybody else is hitting them with 7 irons and 6 irons, you got a pretty good chance.
Well, the other thing is, you better be able to putt there.
And
you better be able to make some pressure putts.
And he's as good a putter as there is on tour. That's the deal. When he won that first one, the Rocket Mortgage, I think it was, when he came back and he goes, well, he's hitting it this far. Well, he led the field in strokes gained putting. He was the best putter. When you get it in the hole faster than everybody else, you're usually going to win.
That was the one in Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, before you get out of here, final thoughts on LSU and Mizzou.
Got to run the football, and you got to stop the run. That's the most important thing. If you make this, Missouri's quarterbacks are limited. They're not great, and they don't have a lot of playmakers on the outside. Roundtree's a good running back, and they're going to try to feed him early. LSU's been susceptible to the run. You get Logan back. If you can slow them down running the football, Missouri can't score 20 points, and I expect LSU's offense to do much, much better than that. I think this looks somewhat like the Vanderbilt game, and it's just a talent mismatch, and it's a team that's just not very good on the other side. I think LSU wins with ease, but you want to see them continue to get better because the gauntlet starts next week.
Early start for us, early start for you on Saturday.
9 o'clock, weather, power, and traffic permitted. We'll be at TJ Ribs at 9 o'clock getting ready for the 11 o'clock kickoff, and we'll have the post game no matter what after the game. We'll see. Everybody stay safe, and we're all ready to watch some football on Saturday morning.
You guys do have a backup plan, though, if things get disrupted. So just watch the website, right?
Yeah, and I'll be on Twitter if you can access that, and we'll be on no matter what at 9 o'clock on the network. We'll find a way.
Tell the truth. You're going home and watch the rest of this baseball game, aren't you?
I got some honeydews to do before a hurricane comes, but I'll probably be.
You got the generator ready?
I don't have a generator. My aunt and uncle do, and if it comes to that, we'll go there. But I'm okay.
You got the candles ready?
No, I'm supposed to go get a flashlight.
Flashlight's not good.
You got the batteries?
Nothing like waiting until the last minute, Hunt. The storm be here tomorrow.
There are flashlights around. We're going to make it work.
All right, 9 o'clock on Saturday morning for the LSU Sports Radio Network. Hour number 3 coming straight ahead. Luke Johnson will be with us. We will talk about the New Orleans Saints, who did not evacuate, did not go to Indianapolis. They are still in New Orleans as the storm jogged a little bit to the west. So we'll talk with him about their upcoming game with the Los Angeles Chargers. Hour number 3 coming straight ahead. Brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hang with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not 1 but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Hey, football fans, T-Bomb here, reminding you that Hooters is your headquarters for football. If you can't get in, they still got the Hooters girls, the TVs, the wings, the beer, everything you love about game day. But what if you're watching at your house? Maybe having some people over. You don't feel like cooking? Well, great. Hooters, they have your back. You download the Hooters app. You'll get a free app, and then you go and you pick up the food. You bring it home. Everybody loves you because you got Hooters wings, and game day, it's a match made in heaven. Download the app. Get Hooters to go. Hooters, your headquarters for football.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, it's the Braves going for the sweep of the Marlins. Game 3 of that NLDS. Atlanta and Miami are scoreless in the top of the third. The Titans' total number of positive COVID-19 tests is 23 in the organization. Another player tested positive this morning. ESPN's Dan Graziano reporting the Titans were informed last Tuesday in-person gatherings had been banned because of their ongoing outbreak, meaning the players' informal workout the next day was unauthorized and a violation of NFL virus-related protocols. However, a group of Titans players believes that's not the case, explains ESPN's Teron Davenport.
They didn't know that workout was going to be a violation. Now, was it an intelligent decision to work out in the midst of an outbreak? Absolutely not. And I will never defend them for that. But there's a discrepancy somewhere, and I think that's really where the problem is.
Teron Davenport on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Patriots coach Bill Belichick said today his team is preparing to play Sunday's scheduled game against the Broncos. New England's had 2 straight days with no new positive tests, according to our Mike Reese.
You need the best coverage, and not just football, but your wireless network too. Straight Talk Wireless gives you the same networks as big carriers for up to half the cost. $45 a month for 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 3. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 The Tiger in Shreveport. And on CST, plus our YouTube page, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN. The Braves are threatening to score again. They didn't have much luck with the...
They scored.
They did score.
Yeah, they scored.
Okay, now there's...
Yeah. Chill out over there.
All right.
Chill out.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Braves baseball. We got UEFA Nations League going on. I'm following that on my phone. We've got international friendlies. I mean, good luck the rest of the show, Hanny.
All right. Well, I got to ask you a specific question though. With what went on with the Titans last week, and now all of this is coming out, and it was you heard the report at the top of the hour, potentially unprecedented penalties coming their way. But the players are kind of pleading ignorance to this. So, okay, let's say you were a member of the Tennessee Titans and you're in the middle of this pandemic and your facility is closed. And I don't know any of the high schools over there. So let me just say that they told you, hey, look, if you remember the Saints, we got to close down our facility. We're going to go practice at Jesuit today. What will be going through your head at that point? Like, why are we going to practice at Jesuit, right?
No. Let's go practice at Jesuit. And again, this isn't me like endorsing it. It's maybe not the smartest decision, but like that's just kind of how we're built. We're in a season. We're already used to practicing. We don't really know when this game's coming up, and you go out there and you try to get something done. Now, obviously, this has backfired on them, but I can understand what they were thinking. But there is protocols in place for a reason. I do understand that. And if you didn't take any protocols and you went out there all willy-nilly, then, yeah, I guess that is a problem. But I'm just telling you from a player's perspective, that's just in the DNA. Hey, we can't go to the facility, but we got to get something done because if we're sitting still, the other team that we're going to play eventually, well, they're getting better. So I can understand why they did it. I hope the NFL honestly doesn't come down on them extremely hard. This is a very serious issue. I get that, but also you're talking about player driven. So the organization is not, they didn't say, hey, let's go hold this. Let's have Mike Vrabel and everybody out there. This was a player driven deal.
All right. So now what do you do with the Titans if you have to postpone this game this week? You have to move it to Monday. And if you do that, then the Bills game, then the Bills would have to move their game the following week, and all of a sudden the Bills don't get paid next week. The Buffalo Bills, that is. So now you're a member of the Buffalo Bills. You did everything right.
Yeah.
And your game got moved because their game got moved, and their game got moved because they didn't follow the rules, and now I'm missing a paycheck.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're acting like that's no big deal.
No, it is. No, it's a big deal.
You would be – this is supposed to be the brother. Now, you have a absolute dislike for the union that you were a member of because you didn't think they did right by the players. But this was what was negotiated by the union, and all of a sudden you're a member of the Buffalo Bills. You've done everything they've asked you to do, and now all of a sudden you're getting docked a paycheck. How's that fair?
Well, it depends on ownership. There's some owners there's owners that would give you the game check. I'll give you an example for certain situations. I guess if you. Could they screw you, basically? Let's just call it like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Could they screw you in this situation? There's some owners that would, and there's some that would give you the game check. So all that depends. But yeah, I understand. I'd be mad. That's a game check, and I'd be missing that because I'm not playing that game. I get paid per game. That's what my contract says. But I would assume 99.9% outside of a couple would go ahead and give you that. But it is a decision that's going to affect the rest of the league. It's not just so it's a trickle down effect of what they decided to do. I'm just saying I can understand what they were thinking. They were thinking we're going to go get some work in. We're going to go do it at this local high school because we can't go to our facility. It wasn't the smartest thing, but a lot of times we're meatheads. That's what we do. We worry about preparing for that game and don't really think of the cause of what we're doing.
All right, so the Marlins, who we're watching here, are now down 3-0 to the Braves. So you're in a better mood.
I was really trying to concentrate during that one. They hit one off the wall. I hope on radio at least, because I know TV.
Well, if you pay attention to the show, that was a good thing because they were scoring. So just think of it as karma for a few minutes while I ask you a couple more questions. The Marlins were penalized for sending players into the clubhouse and onto the field that they knew had tested positive. They made them quarantine. They made them stop playing games. They made them bus back from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But it's different in football, isn't it? Because in baseball, they went to the winning percentage. They said, listen, over 60 games and 30 teams, we're not going to get every game in. So we're going to go to winning percentage. In football, you go to winning percentage, and not only is it 16 games instead of 60, but, man, how many teams would want to take an extra bye? It's almost like you're giving the Titans an advantage because they directly disobeyed an order from the league, and you're penalizing the teams. The Steelers are not happy about this. You saw Ben Roethlisberger's take because now they don't get a week off later in the season, so they got to play, I think it's 13 weeks in a row. So you're penalizing the Steelers. You're penalizing the Bills. if you let the winning percentage dictate everything, which mathematically makes a lot of sense, then you're gifting this to the Titans. How in the world is any of that fair?
Well, it's not fair. And there's a lot of things in the NFL that are not fair, even when you throw it against other sports. But going back to it, the Titans are going to get something that's pretty hefty here. So, they get the benefit of the doubt in this, but I think that's why the NFL is like, you know what? Because, we know that probably plays well for y'all, but here's what we're going to do. So when they say that it's going to be a harsh penalty, I think that comes into their mind as well. What do you think they're going to do, though, if winning percentage comes into this and for the postseason? Is it only going to be divisional? Hey, we're going to look within the division. We've all played the same teams, and that's the games, because that's the games they have to make sure they play is divisional games.
Yeah, I think that this is the first time in my life that I can remember that the NFL has got a legitimate reason to force a team to forfeit a game. That you went against a direct league order to do something, and because of that, you disrupted the schedules of 2 other teams, and you disrupted more than a little bit of money while you're doing that, and you put a lot of people's health at risk that you didn't need to put their health at risk, and you did it on purpose. You know, guys catch this thing because they went home and caught it, because they went somewhere and caught it, but they were trying to do the right thing. I mean, you can catch it anywhere, right? But you were trying to do that. I mean, you stopped to pick up, I don't know, dinner, and you caught it. Okay, well, then you got to put somebody on a COVID list, and it happens. It's happened to a number of guys. But no, this is a team. You knew you had multiple positive tests, so I said, shut it down, and you didn't. And you're going to have a competitive advantage because of that. You're gonna let the Titans skip games with the Steelers and Bills, who are both pretty good? No. I think this is the first time that I can ever remember that the league can force a forfeit here. I think that's in play. You don't?
No, I don't. I mean, we're disagreeing on this, and I know that I'm probably going to be on the side of this that not a lot of people agree with, and it's just my experiences. Ryan Tannehill came out and said you can't sit around on the couch for a week and be on Zoom meetings and expect to be at your physical peak performance on a Sunday or whenever the game is going to be played.
And I don't disagree with him on that, but there's a difference.
They went to work. They didn't go to an event. They didn't go to a party. They didn't go somewhere. They were going to work. Now, again, was it the smartest choice? It wasn't. Well, I'm telling you, it wasn't the smartest choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I just know that's the way that we are molded. That's the way we're thinking. We got to be ready for this game, because if we're not doing it, if we're on this couch and they're able to go out there on the field, then we're going to get our butts beat.
But the play and the players, I understand. It's sort of like you're following orders, okay? But you got a rogue sergeant leading his privates. The general's got to penalize the sergeant, and so the private's got to pay the price for that. The league has to penalize the Titans franchise for disobeying a direct order here. So the players become the collateral damage in this. When the league suspended Sean Payton, all of the players on that team suffered for it, because the Saints weren't as good as they would have been if Sean Payton would have been there. Maybe that cost them a playoff check. Maybe it cost them an incentive in their contract. Maybe it just cost them the opportunity to become a championship team. We'll never know how that season would have turned out. And it wasn't the 35th man on the Saints roster's fault that Sean Payton allowed Greg Williams to do that, but they had to pay the price. So I'm not saying that I blame Ryan Tannehill for going out to practice at Jesuit High School, Nashville, because the team told him to be there. But the NFL has got to do something to the Titans franchise, and all of the players are going to have to suffer for that, because it's simply not fair for the Bills and the Steelers to have to bear all the brunt of this.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just. You're taking player standpoint. I'm trying to take the league standpoint.
And again, I'm not even saying we're right. I'm saying it's not smart. Yeah. I'm just saying I know where they're coming from, and I know how that happened. And they're still saying that they were compliant. They're still fighting it. They're saying, no, we were compliant.
Well, you were a player, and so you're taking the side of the Titans players. For a minute, take the side of the Bills players.
Yeah, for sure.
Or the Steelers players.
Yeah, and I get it. If you miss a game check, I might fly to Nashville. We might have a conversation.
Right.
Because
okay.
those game checks are precious. You only get so many of them.
Or if you were forced to play 13 weeks in a row when
I actually like that. I'm weird.
Okay. Pick one of your teammates that would not have appreciated playing 13 weeks
An
in a
older
row.
player like Big Ben, like when he came out and said it. An older veteran player who, when he gets out of bed, he feels it every single day. Completely understand that. I'm curious what the penalties are going to be. Because a fine, okay, here you go. Right?
Yeah.
These are billionaires.
A fine's
not gonna do anything. If you want to hurt them, you take away their ability to draft a first rounder.
And I really do think a forfeit's in play here. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's in play.
You think of the Steelers game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and then what do you do with the Bills game? If you forfeit the Steelers game, what do you think happens with the Bills? Because I'm with you. That's two teams you're ducking that are pretty damn good.
If they can't get cleared to play by Monday and the Bills are forced out of a game check because of this, I think you may forfeit that game too.
2 forfeits.
When the league came out and said unprecedented penalties, I started thinking about the biggest penalties ever in the league.
What did the Patriots give up draft-wise?
It was a first-round pick.
So to you, that almost might say draft picks and some.
Yeah.
And some forfeit.
I'm not taking it off the table. They hit the Niners for a first-round pick when they violated the salary cap. They hit – who was it? They hit the Jets for tampering with Parcells. No, I'm sorry. The Patriots for tampering with Belichick when he went there. They sent them a first-round pick. Start there. And then if you're talking about individual suspensions, there's the Peyton suspension. There was the Paul Horning and Alex Karras suspensions, which were for a year, I think, for gambling back in the 60s. Yeah. You're going to suspend a general manager. You're going to suspend a coach. You're going to suspend an owner, tell an owner that they can't go in. I don't know. But I think the forfeit is a possibility. When we come back, Luke Johnson will be with us. We'll talk Saints. Their game is on for the Dome on Monday night. No fans, but they will play the L.A. Chargers. Did not have to evacuate. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we're brought to you by our title sponsor every single day. That's Richards Honda. You can find them at richardshonda.com. The event that you wait on all year is here, the Richards Honda Trade-In, Trade-Up event. You can go to the website I just gave you, richardshonda.com, to find out more information. They have over 700 new and pre-owned vehicles that are priced to move. You can also go check out the lot at 13413 Millerville Greens Boulevard in Baton Rouge. That's I-12 and Millerville. And like I tell you, every single day, they've got something that you'll fall in love with. They've got something to fit your lifestyle. If you're looking for a car, they have the Accord, the Civic, and the Fit. If you're looking for a hybrid, they have a full line of hybrids with the Accord Hybrid, the Clarity Plug-in Hybrid, the CR-V Hybrid, which is that midsize SUV, and the Insight. Speaking of midsize SUVs, CR-V, HR-V, Passport as well. The Odyssey minivan, the full-size SUV, the Pilot, which seats 8. They've got the Ridgeline truck. So as you can tell, something for everybody over at Richards Honda. That's why it's home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I'm Jay Cody. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Jani-King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
Jani-King, the king of clean.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you.
Coming up on Fridays Off the Bench, we kick off Football Friday making fun of Hunt Palmer. Then we take a final pass at LSU-Missouri. Cole Kublik stops by to break down the SEC as a whole. Also a brand new OTB tier list. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Marlins threatening 2 on and 1 out. Braves though with
Chill
a
out.
4-0 lead. I'm just reporting the scores.
Chill out.
Keep it under your hat, man. It's gonna be all right. Luke Johnson with us from the New Orleans Advocate, Saints, and the Chargers on Monday night. Luke, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing great, Charlie. How are you doing, man?
Fantastic. Tell me, to start this thing, how big of a distraction it's been this week with the possibilities and then not possibilities of moving some operations to Indianapolis. Looks like the Storm's going to miss New Orleans to the extent that the Saints would have had to go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think it's been that big of a distraction. Today was really the first day of practice that they dedicated toward the Chargers. Today's like their typical Wednesday practice. And they'd already reached a decision to keep the thing here. So I think it was probably something that was annoying to deal with for a day or two, but I think they're right on schedule. They'll be okay.
And that extra day, Luke, obviously gave them some help because you play on Monday night. You probably had an extra off day. Everybody could kind of decide and then get a better idea for the Storm. So in this week, that extra off day was gigantic.
Yeah, and even beyond the Storm. I mean, they've got a bunch of – obviously the 6 starters that missed last week's game, and then you had a handful of them that left the game itself. They're a pretty banged-up team. I think they could really use an extra day of rest right now, just beyond the day that you get to benefit from looking at the Storm and seeing where it's going to track.
All right, Luke, so you have an extra day to get a little bit more bodies back, I guess. But what bodies are coming back, in your opinion, if any?
So I think we will see Mike Thomas back this week. I'm pretty confident in that. I would like to say I'm confident that Marcus Davenport is going to come back, but we'll kind of wait and see there. I was confident he was going to come back last week, and then a toe injury just pops up out of nowhere on the injury report. So I'm going to wait and see until they tell me he is actually playing. I think Marshall Lattimore will probably be back. Everything we heard about his hamstring injury, which granted was not much, was that it wasn't something super serious. It's not something that's going to keep him out several weeks. So I think last week him sitting out was probably a precaution. So I mean that's a huge boost. We'll kind of play it by ear with Ryan Ramczyk. Obviously that's the sort of thing where you need to let that run its course and see how he's doing after having a concussion in the game. You do not want to rush somebody back from that sort of thing. But if he's good to go, you're injecting a couple All-Pros and a Pro Bowler and maybe even Jared Cook. I think there's a chance they get a lot of those guys back this week.
How much of a consideration is it that the following week is a bye week, and anybody you hold out of this game essentially gets 2 more weeks? And is that a part of the decision-making process for any of these guys?
I mean, I think it should be part of the decision-making process. But if guys are healthy, and if the medical staff thinks they're healthy and they're ready to go, and playing a game is not going to significantly play a factor in these guys maybe getting hurt again, then you let them go. You let them play. I don't think it's going to result in them sitting down Michael Thomas. I think he was pretty close to being able to go last week, and I don't think they're going to be able to keep him off the field for a 4th straight week. Maybe you see it play into whether they play somebody like Marshawn Lattimore if his hamstring is just still kind of tweaking a little bit and not where it needs to be. Maybe he sits down because you get that extra week. But I don't think if a guy is ready to go and if he's cleared medically, I don't think they're going to play out of an abundance of caution.
Luke, real quick, kind of recapping last week's win. I mean, the way they did it, going down 14-0, then storming all the way back, and then taking full control of the game. And I know the Lions made it a little bit more interesting than you would like at the very end. Is that a win that you can see jump-starting this team to be the team that we know? I know they were banged up. You get some guys with some experience. You roll some different guys out there. You find a way on the road, down early, and you get the win. Is that something you can see jump-starting this team?
Yeah, I think the thing that really stuck out to me was that their offense was playing like on schedule with tempo, the way you're used to seeing that offense play. That was the most worrisome part of those first 3 weeks. Is it's not that they're not throwing the ball downfield or putting up these giant yardage numbers. That some of their failings have come where they've been so good lately. Drew Brees was not completing a very high percentage of his passes, and he was missing the underneath throws, and they were not playing with tempo, and they were not operating in the 2-minute drill, and they weren't protecting the passer. It was just all these little things that added up to make them look like an inefficient offense. And I think this last week you saw that 13-play drive they went on, or whatever it was, 10 or 13 plays, when they were down 14-0 in the first quarter to just like get them back into it. They only threw the ball 3 times on that drive. They were trusting their offensive line and their running game to set the tempo and set the pace for them, and then they were playing their passing game off of that, and everything was in rhythm. And that's the Saints offense that we're accustomed to seeing. Maybe not so run heavy, but in rhythm and in tempo. It's so important for these guys. And I think they're going to be able to work some of these guys back in. The guys who are hurt are guys who have been here forever. And they're going to be able to work them back in without much of a blip in the radar, and they'll be good to go. So that was the most encouraging thing to me. I think there's still some things to be answered defensively. They still got to get a more consistent pass rush. I don't know where that's been this year, but I think they'll be good. I think they'll be a good team by the end of the season.
Luke Johnson from the New Orleans Advocate is our guest. Luke, this is a much different-looking Chargers team than what the Saints might have expected, 3 weeks ago. Justin Herbert is now the starting quarterback, and Austin Eckler, their lead back, is out for this game. In fact, he's going to be out for quite a while. So rate the Saints matchup with the Chargers given those changes.
Yeah, I just don't think this is a very good matchup for the Chargers. The teams that can hurt the Saints, at least against the Saints defense, are offenses that look a lot like New Orleans is. I think the Raiders and the Packers both hurt them with the tempo underneath stuff, and misdirection and all that sort of stuff. And the Chargers are, at least with Justin Herbert, they don't really have a matchup guy outside of Keenan Allen, who's pretty good on the outside, really good. But Eckler, you can create matchups, especially in the passing game, and they don't have that now. And Herbert is not the guy who's going to kill you with the quick game. He's going to beat you downfield, and I think they're pretty solid there. So I just don't think it's a very good matchup, especially also when you look at the defensive side of the ball. I think the area where the Chargers really hurt you is with their bookends with Bosa and Ingram out there. If the Saints have both Ramczyk and Armstead in the game, I think that kind of neutralizes that too. So I just think this matches up really well for New Orleans. I'm kind of expecting him to win pretty handily.
Last thing, how steamed exactly is the team with the mayor? There were not going to be any fans for this game. She's pretty adamant about that there was a hurricane in play when she made that call. The next home game is October the 25th. The Saints put in a formal request the last time, which I can't ever remember happening. But just where does that particular issue lie right now?
I mean, they are not very happy. I can tell you that. I know that for a fact. And they're sending out stuff to the season ticket holders saying they're trying to change her mind on this stuff. It's just it's just the nature of things. But I think if you look at what's going on right now, both with half the White House being infected and the Titans having severe issues with COVID-19 infections, and the New England Patriots having the two biggest stars in their team being infected, I think the messaging is probably in Mayor Cantrell's favor right now. I think it's just in this particular instance, as mad as they might be about it, and as much as the science might say, like, look, 10,000 people in the Superdome is not gonna hurt anybody if they can maintain their distancing and you can enforce the proper protocols of people entering the stadium. That's all well and good, but the political messaging in the current landscape, I think would make it pretty tough. I can see both sides, is what I'm saying, and I'm really hoping that by the time they have that Week 6 home game in the Superdome, that this will not be a question that we have to deal with again.
Luke Johnson, we appreciate it. Hang in there, and we will talk to you next week.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Luke Johnson from the New Orleans Advocate. Braves get out of their mess with the bases loaded without any runs scoring, so it's 4-0 Atlanta as we go to the top of the fourth inning. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Tiger Air, a licensed distributor of the American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning System. Listen, if you have damage done to your unit during the course of Hurricane Delta, you can have priority service if you're a member of their club. You know, this is not only something that is for general maintenance, it's for emergencies as well, and that priority service could be very advantageous if you're talking about being without power or being with you have power and your unit is damaged as the course of the storm.
You're exactly right, Hanny. That's that Comfort Assurance Protection Plan. So you mentioned you get discounts on parts and labor. You get that seasonal maintenance that's so important. You also get lower utilities, very important. But as far as emergency service, you're going to get that at a discounted rate as well. Priority service. You will be serviced ahead of everyone else who has called because you're part of that Comfort Assurance Protection Plan. You can find more information at tiger-air.com and pick up the phone and give them a call at 225-754-8687.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is it, what smart customers wait for all year. The Richards Honda Trade-In, Trade-Up event. Right now, get more money for your trade and a great price on something new. That's a win-win. Only at richardshonda.com. The smart choice.
Well, the reason why I would recommend him because he's trustworthy. I mean, attention and love and respect of who you are, what you are, and the purpose why you came, he honors that. Once you're with Murphy, you got a friend.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
T-Bob Abear here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Upgrading your ride is as easy as richardshonda.com during the Trade-In, Trade-Up event. It's a once-a-year event with great prices on every vehicle in stock. So trade up today. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Hey, it's Gabe Voisier inviting you to join us for a special edition of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep School Board Show. We're live Thursday night from 10 to midnight on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Today's show also brought to you in part by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain, whether it be from an auto accident, a sports injury, or just some general old aging. You've got a herniated disc, a muscle, a ligament strain, neck or back discomfort. Let them ease your suffering. They've done it for me. They've done it for others in my family through a series of therapeutic exercises or stretches or techniques like dry needling, electric nerve stimulation, ultrasound, or cryotherapy. 4 locations, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, to easily accommodate you no matter where you are in the parish. 13406 Airline Highway, 2832 Plank Road, 467 Oak Plaza Boulevard in Brewley, and on Jefferson Highway near Drusilla. Easy access from both I-10 and I-12, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. So Anthony Lynn has named Justin Herbert his starting quarterback for the rest of the year, which we expected.
But did we? Remember I think they forced his hand. Herbert forced his hand with how well he played.
I thought it was after the Tampa game. I thought it was obvious. I mean, I thought it was obvious after the Chiefs game when he was forced into action. You know, hey kid, you're up. I mean, when you don't know you're starting the whole week and you just get forced in there.
So Chargers over here, obvious over here. Those two never meet in the middle.
Okay.
So I am surprised. It's the right call. Nothing against Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor has played a long time in the NFL for a reason. He's a good football player. He is the perfect placeholder because he can win you games. He's not going to lose you many games, right? But full-time starter, that's just not what his role is in the NFL. You draft somebody number 6 overall, they come in and they play really well against the defending champs, and they play really well against a Tom Brady-led team on the road. Let him have the team. It's his team.
And it is his team. Anthony Lynn put out a statement just a few minutes ago. Also a statement just a few minutes ago. Send our best out to Les Miles, who has, according to a statement put out by Kansas, been tested positive for COVID-19. He will still be able to attend meetings through Zoom and other remote working procedures, but athletic director Jeff Long says Coach Miles has tested positive through our surveillance testing. At this time, we believe he will be able to continue to perform his head coaching duties. Based on the test results, no other coach is tested positive. As long as he does not develop symptoms or have a fever, we anticipate he will be able to coach the West Virginia game. That's their next game on October the 17th. We're working through our protocols, notifying individuals that may have been in close contact with him for an extended period of time. We wish him a speedy recovery. He's not the only one, the only head coach going through this. Kevin Sumlin is going through this, but of course they're not.
Norvell, Florida State.
Mike Norvell, but for Sumlin, they're not in season yet. For Norvell, he's had to miss. This will be his second game, right, this weekend. And for Les, who's an older coach, this may be a little bit more serious, but the way they're talking, he's asymptomatic,
right,
at least for now. So, but if you're what I was wondering, you're a head coach and you get this, man, don't you come into contact with pretty much everybody in the building?
That's my first initial thought is you've been around everyone. You're the head coach, special teams, offense, defense. You've been around everybody, every single coach, every single really trainer. I mean, you've been in contact with everyone. So I don't know what they're doing to trace the head coaches. We know what they're doing as far as tracing the players. They've got the wristband with the device on it, and they're able to tell. But do the coaches have? I would assume maybe. Or are we just giving too much credit here? I would assume they have something.
I have no idea. I couldn't even venture a guess as to what they're doing. But I do think it would be pretty tough to coach a team remotely. How would you respond to that? I mean, is he watching practice off of a live feed somewhere? I mean, they put somebody in the practice facility and they film it, and he's watching from there. We're just talking about, well, he doesn't see practice live. He just sees all of the practice tape.
Yeah.
I know they've mastered the art of Zoom meetings. I get that part.
Yeah.
But the actual being able to coach,
I guess
and
I guess it depends on how much, is it a coach that's the offensive coordinator? Is it the coach that is the defensive coordinator? That's where I think it would be a bigger problem because you're the coordinator. A head coach that doesn't do those things, yes, he's the face of your team, but he could probably get up in a Zoom meeting. He could be on the big screen. He can see his team. They can see him, and they can communicate everything. Because a head coach that's not a coordinator, well, he actually doesn't talk that much. He'll get out in front of the team, and he'll give them the good word, and here's the plan. Here's what we want to do this week. And then he turns it over to the coordinator, and they do most of the talking. They do all of the coaching. And
you're talking about during the practice?
Yeah, during kind of everything.
Okay.
During the meetings, practice, everything. Head coach of practice, basically, for the most part. Now, Coach O's a little different. Coach O will get that D-line, and he'll work him, but a typical head coach is not a coordinator. They stand back, and they kind of watch everybody. They don't do a lot of coaching within the season. So if you're a coordinator, head coach, that would be a big problem because, well, who calls the plays? Who gets the game plan? Who gets everything together? Because you cannot be with the coaches just like you can't be with the players. And so when they're upstairs meeting, well, you got to be on a Zoom meeting. You're trying to, hey, show me the whiteboard where we had that two-man route combination we really like. So unfortunate, obviously, but at least it's not a coordinator situation in some of these cases.
You just throw him and say, okay, whoever the DC is, you're the defensive head coach until he gets back. As far as practice is concerned, the offensive coordinator. You've
got the associate head coach. It's got that title who gives him a little bit of a bump in pay. Who will have he'll be in front of the team for a couple of minutes. He'll kind of blow the whistle for practice or hey, blow the horn. But outside of that, I don't think it's going to affect you that much.
I think those titles are BS, by the way.
They're for raises.
Yes, that's all they're for. I mean, you're the assistant head coach, and then there's what year was it they did
associate and assistant?
Yeah, you have an assistant head coach and associate head coach. It's like, come on, I mean, why don't you just put Esquire behind it? I mean, come on, what is this about?
Or Stetson Bennett the fourth.
Yes,
just add something extra.
Yes. We'll take a break. Come back. Ask us when we return. We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Right now, with interest rates as low as they are, might be your best opportunity to get into a new home. Maybe it's your first time home. Maybe you want to upgrade from where you are. Your purchasing power has never been higher. Maybe you like where you are. Maybe you want to stay there. You just would like to pay a little bit less, or you'd like to pay for a shorter amount of time. A refi might be in your best interest right now. Talk to a certified counselor, gmfsmortgage.com. They'll walk you through step by step all the way from your initial consultation all the way to the closing. They'll lay out all of your options, and you'll be able to proceed with the best one for you and your family. Listen, thousands and thousands of people have done this. They've bettered their financial situation. They talk about changing lives. They're talking about changing that biggest bill every month, putting you in a better situation. So do what I did and thousands of others have done. Start that financial journey today at gmfsmortgage.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
When morning came to Louisiana, we were hopeful, not hibernating. We were mending fences, feeding neighbors, and holding our kids. When morning came to Louisiana, we were wide awake, planting seeds for next year's crops. We were stronger, ready for what's next. And together, as we build anew, Blue Cross stands ready to support you.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention him right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Full hour of football talk with Mike Detillier. Ryan Clark is with us as well. Fantasy Blitz. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, time for Ask Us, brought to you by our friends over at Coors Light. Get you a cold Coors Light for the game tonight, or maybe one of the new Light Sky Blue Moons. That's see them right here on the desk. New official beer of Hanging with Hester and Hanny, or the Vizzy Hard Seltzer, also a new brand from our friends over at Crescent Crown. It goes right into our first Ask Us today, which is Bucks -4. Is this line going to -4? Playboy Marty, it was 3.5 earlier today. Who do we like tonight? Bucks -4 or the Bears?
I like the Bucks. Nick Foles and the whole Tom Brady angle of it is intriguing to me, but I'm thinking Buccaneers.
3.5 is what we're showing on the line. I like Tampa, but this is a little bit hairy for me. Their entire receiving core is decimated for Tampa right now. So, you're going to be without Howard. You're going to be without Brady. Not without Brady. You're going to be without Howard. You're going to have Evans, who is shaky right now on that ankle. Godwin is out. So you got some issues there. I would almost like under in the game a little bit. But you like Tampa.
What they showed last week after getting down 24-7, and I realize the Chargers right now are struggling a bit themselves, but that showed a lot of grit, and that's the kind of performance in a team that's trying to figure out, can I trust my teammate, because everybody's kind of new. That performance can go a long way.
Ask us. This is going to have to be for me because I know what you're going to say. It's ask us, can the Braves beat the Dodgers? You want me to answer?
Yeah,
yes, they can. Hester's going to tell you for sure. The Dodgers are the favorites because they got the best team. But could the Braves? Yes, and we're talking about a short series. Yeah, anything can happen.
The Braves have the best lineup in baseball. I truly think they do. Now, the starting pitching, that's where they get in trouble.
Yeah,
because the Dodgers hitters are going to hit those starters. Now, you run into Kershaw. If he gets hot in the Dodgers starters, can they shut down a really good offense? Yeah, they can. So that's the challenge for the Braves. Can Max Fried, can N. Anderson, can Kyle Wright, be the guys that shut down the Dodgers?
Ask us, will LSU be allotted visiting tickets to the game? Yeah, but just I think it's family members. I think they got 500 tickets.
I don't think I know anybody that's trying to go up to Como.
Yeah,
I'm here.
They have been allotted some tickets, and I think it's just for team members' families. Ask us, what grade do you give the NBA bubble, and should the NFL follow suit? I give the NBA bubble pretty close to 100.
Yeah.
I mean, save for a couple of food deliveries and one trip to a strip club.
That was out of the bubble.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job of holding that thing down. I saw one guy who was part of the television production crews. He was holding up a sign with a 100. It looked like the sign that Wilt held up when he hit 100 points, except it was for 100 days in the bubble. I mean, think about, I understand it's Disney World. I understand it's not, Alcatraz, but you get sent somewhere for 100 days without your family. I know the players got to bring their families in, but think about all the other people that worked there that had to go into this thing for 100 days, and you can't see your family. You can't go here. You can't go there. You got to follow all these restrictions. Yeah, I give them pretty close to 100.
So this isn't the same situation, and I was miserable, so I can't imagine being there. When my second year in Denver, Katie was pregnant with Hudson, our 7-year-old, and she wanted to have him back in Shreveport. She wanted to have her OB. She wanted to be there. She was pregnant. She didn't want to travel back and forth. So I was in a extended stay hotel by myself, from early March until late May-ish, somewhere around there. And
that doesn't sound fun.
And I was there. I was flying back to Shreveport on Thursday nights because they had a direct flight, believe it or not, from Denver to Shreveport, Shreveport to Denver, and then spend the weekend in Shreveport, and then fly back. And that got me all out of whack. And that was going home, seeing my family at times, and not being in a bubble, being able to go to Rockies games if I wanted to, but just living in a hotel, being a little bit different, that was miserable. So I can't imagine 100 days. But it was a really nice job by everybody.
And the second part of the question is, should the NFL follow suit? I don't think that's logistically possible. I think that what they're doing is what they can do. And if you follow the protocols, they work way more often than they don't. So, no, I don't think that. Ask us, what is something that you have no patience for that is actually pretty trivial? There's probably a lot of things that
something that's like not a big deal.
Yeah, you think to yourself a little bit later on, but it's like, man, is that really a big deal that
when
you have
someone says I digress?
Really?
It is I don't know what it is, but when somebody says that, I'm like, are you trying to sound so smart? And maybe because I'm a redneck, that's fine. But when somebody says that, it doesn't affect me at all. It's something that is very easily said. I don't know why. When somebody says it, I'm like, yeah.
All right, I gotta get this one from the group, okay? Because this sounds like something that I should know. That you really made a big deal out of that. Just chill out and move on. Cade, what do you got?
I don't know. I'm not big on if I go get food and bring it to the house for the family. I'm not big on getting drinks because I hate trying to carry multiple drinks into the house.
Because you're going to spill one, right? You got one of those little cardboard things.
It's going to happen. Yeah.
Okay. Playboy Marty.
I've thought a lot about this, and the best thing I can come up with is people that hold the door open for too long, like too many people. You know what I mean?
You might win.
Or it's just like weird at that point.
I do, but I digress.
Oh, gross. See, it just sounds like, dude, it's in Oxford. What are we doing here?
Paul O'Neill.
I can't think of one.
I can give you mine. The poker players will understand this. Everybody else will go, what the hell is that? Slow rolling used to just absolutely drive me up the wall. Okay, I mean, to the point where I would say something, and a lot of times it would be something not all that nice. I've mellowed a little bit on slow rolling. I still think it's a bush league play, but I'm mature enough to just move on with my day.
Inside the Bayou Ford huddle, George. Big words upset Jake. It's not even that big a word. That's what I said. I don't know why it upsets me. Another thing that always kind of upsets me, every time a Major League Baseball player swings at a third strike, it doesn't matter where it is. He turns around and asks the umpire, hey, was that a strike? And the umpire always says yes.
Don't call him by the first name.
Don't do that. Bane.
Ask us, do the Braves use their top 3 starters against Kershaw or try and avoid it?
There's no.
You ain't got that many games to fool with.
You got to throw your guys. Your guys are not as good as they are, and so you just got to throw them and hope you hit.
Let's see. Spin the wheel.
What age do you want to live to? I want to be. I want to be functional. If I'm not functional, if I'm not doing things on my own, don't prolong this thing.
I don't want to answer that question because it's.
I'll answer it. I don't care. If I get to 80, I'm feeling really good about myself.
Look, I'm like you. I don't want to be where I have no quality of life. But this is one of those deals where everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. I mean, I don't want to put a deadline on this thing.
I don't put a deadline, but if I'm not functional,
whatever the good Lord decides, just don't. When you decide, take me quick. Don't leave me in that. Don't leave me with no quality of life.
Okay. This one I feel like is for Playboy Marty and Paul.
Okay.
What would your perfect room look like? If you could set a perfect room up, what would it look like?
This is all Playboy Marty.
Yeah, I think so,
this is a Playboy Marty question.
I'll have a balcony overlooking mountains, a lot of TVs, ATM inside of it would be nice.
An ATM. If you can set up the room, you probably got enough money where you don't need the ATM. But the ATM wouldn't charge you a fee, right? Paul?
I definitely need multiple TVs.
Lots of TVs.
Connection to internet. Obvious.
Popcorn machine?
A nice lounge chair.
Beer tap.
Pure Light.
Thanks to everybody for participating. For Playboy Marty, for Paul O'Neill, for Cade Wazan, and Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff. Stay tuned for AFR on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Mathern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to